So on this wheel right here is every single NHL team that does not want a Stanley Cup. And today we're going to be rebuilding all of these teams and we're going to try to win some Stanley Cups. We're starting with the Minnesota Wild first. Every single rebuild's only going to be 3 seasons though, so we don't have tons of time. So because of the coach we have, we're actually in a pretty good spot here. Joel Eriksson at Kirill Kaprizov and Matt Boldy on the top line getting a +5 boost, while Ryan Hartman, Marco Rossi, and Matt Zuccarello, they're getting a +1 on the second. The bottom 6 needs a bit of work here, but you know what? We got a great starting spot for this team. Ideally with the defensive core here, these 4 guys are here for all 3 years. I think they can be some big time players for us. And to cap it all off, we have 84 overall Marc-Andre Fleury, 84 overall Gustafsson. Ideally we can upgrade in the goaltending department slightly. I would like an 86 overall. So with that being said, that means it's time to make some trades. But while I try to figure out what team we're going to be making our first trade with, I'm trying to hit 65,000 subs by the end of the month, and I'm not going to be able to do that if 80% of the people watching these videos aren't subscribed. So if you're a part of that 80%, first of all, what's wrong with you? But number 2, subscribe to the channel. So I think we're going to do 2 trades before we get into this season. Marc-Andre Fleury, I'm going to send you over to the Columbus Blue Jackets. We're going to pick up Tarasov and a 3rd round pick. The reason we're bringing in Tarasov is we need a backup for this season because Jesper Wallstedt, after this year, you're going to be our goaltender for the next 2, barring you develop correctly. Now the main reason we trade Marc-Andre Fleury, we got to clear up cap space for this season. A 3rd rounder, John Merle, a 4th and 5th is going to be sent over to the Vegas Golden Knights. We're bringing in Braden McNabb for the next 2 years, and then Anthony Mantha. More than likely, you're just going to play on the team for this season. We only have 3 years to win Stanley Cup, so we basically have to be competing every single year. We can't be taking seasons off, so we got to get trades done when we can. I'll add a 6th rounder into this deal, and that'll be enough to get this one done. So we're going to have Mantha playing on the 2nd line, where he has a pretty solid line fit. Ryan Hartman, you're moving down to the 3rd line. You're giving them a +1 boost. When it comes to the defense, Braden McNabb, you know what? You're going to be playing alongside Bogosian. That's going to be a pretty solid pairing. While the goaltending, this is what we're rocking with for this season. Ideally, Jesper Wallsted's our number 1 next season, but you never know. If we give Phil Gustafsson all the starts here, he might improve to an 86 overall, and you don't know what can happen. So I think it's no surprise the Minnesota Wild aren't one of the best teams. We're 16th with a 31-24-9 record. We have quite the hill to climb. The goaltending and defense on this team is really bad, and it's actually a bit of a surprise to me. I feel like our defense really isn't that bad. Kirill Kaprizov 62 points here. He's got 27 goals. Matt Zuccarello is 61. Matt Boldy, he's picking up 49 points here. But yeah, I really thought the defense was going to be a lot better on this team. Like, these guys are just not performing, plain and simple. I mean, the goaltending is not helping us in the slightest. Phil Gustafsson, 23 wins, 1 shot, a .907, and a goals against of exactly 3. While the backup, yeah, Tarasov, you're not that guy, pal. He's also playing in way too many games. There's no reason he should have played this many already. Wallstone, on the other hand, is looking absolutely incredible in the AHL right now, so he's definitely making the jump next season. Alright, so we're going to try to pull off a massive trade here. Carson Lambos, Ryan Hartman, because he's under contract for the next 4 years at $4 million. I don't necessarily want to pay him $4 million to be a bottom 6 guy for us, so I'm going to include all of this with a 2nd round pick. We're going to send it over to the Chicago Blackhawks, Taylor Hall at 50% retained, and Nazar. If we can get both of these guys right here, that's a massive win. Basically, they're willing to say yes to this deal, but they don't want to retain salary for Taylor Hall. I'll give you a 3rd round pick as well, just to retain salary. I am willing to give you a 1st round pick just to retain Taylor Hall's salary, because we're in a tough salary cap situation right now. I'm sending that over. They're still saying no. I'll give you a 3rd and 4th rounder as well. Is this way too much? Absolutely. But you know what? We got to get this deal done. Not only are we competing against every NHL team, but we're also competing against the clock. So we got to work with what we can get, and we got to work quick. So Taylor Hall might be the smartest pickup of all time. A perfect line fit on the top line. Matt Zuccarello has a near perfect on the 2nd. So we're now getting a +5 boost here and a +3 boost here. So after the trade deadline, I was definitely a lot happier with how the Minnesota Wild are performing. We're not going to be a top team here, but you know what? 13th in the entire league with a 43-30-9 record. I'll take that considering what was happening before. The offense is now better than our defense, and that means quite a bit. Like at the trade deadline, not only were we not very good offensively, but we weren't good defensively. But you know what? It looks like some of that straightened out. Kirill Kaprizov 84 points here, 40 goals. Matt Zuccarello 76 points, but Taylor Hall 63. And what'd you do since joining the team here? 21 points in 18 games. And that's what I'm looking for. On top of Taylor Hall, I also want to see what Gustafsson's numbers look like. Yeah, these are way better. 33 wins, 2 shots, a 912 and a 283. We might be able to surprise some teams. And the first team that we have to surprise here, that's the Winnipeg Jets, because we're taking them on in the 1st round. So we're competing with the Winnipeg Jets right now, and people are definitely doubting this team, but you know what? We're looking good. Game 5 is going to be a massive one. Unfortunately, we're going to be dropping that, so we got to respond in Game 6 here to keep our hopes alive. That's not going to be happening. Okay, we started the series 2-1, and now it's 4-2, and we're eliminated in the 1st round. But you know what? We were a wild card team. This was expected. We're going to reevaluate things over the offseason, and we'll make some moves. The most important thing is we have 90% of this team locked down. To cap off the postseason here, we're going to see the Vegas Golden Knights defeating the Carolina Hurricanes. The only embarrassing thing about this is Carolina was up 3-0 in that series. They allowed Vegas to win 4 straight games to win the Stanley Cup. Yeah, that's a tough luck for them. Obviously, when it comes to our postseason stats, they're not looking that great here. The bottom 6 did perform, so I mean, shout out to those guys. They were locked in. Gustafsson, 2 wins, 1 shutout, a 905 and a goals against of 3. I can't really blame you for what happened here. The whole team's got to be better. So for this video, I only have one major rule, and that's I can't trade for future first round picks at the draft. Because right now, Winnipeg's first round pick, it's absolutely tanked in value, and I could probably get it for a 2nd, 5th, and 6th rounder. That's a really unfair trade considering right when free agency starts, that pick's going to triple in value, so I'm not going to be doing any of that today. I can trade my current picks for future picks, they just can't be for first rounders. So we're going to start with this pick right here. The 52nd overall is going to the Anaheim Ducks for 2 third rounders. And then our 5th and 6th rounders are going to be sent over to the Buffalo Sabres, and we're getting a 3rd rounder. Drafting is going to be basically useless in a video like this. We got to be competing and we got to win early. We can't wait for prospects to develop. When it comes to the re-sign phase, we're not going to be spending too much time here because no one's really going to be coming back. Mantha, we're going to be letting him walk. He was just for this season in case we did go on a deep run. I would want a guy like him. Golgovsky's not going to be coming back, and Butcher, neither are you. I mean, the rest of these guys aren't either, but those were the notable ones. So here's where things get really interesting. We don't have that much money to work with, and we got to bring back a handful of players for next season. So 4.7 is going to Brock Faber for the next 5. Taylor Hall, I do want to keep you around long term. Hopefully we can do a reasonable deal with you. We could probably do 4.8 million. Actually, we'll do 4.75. That's a good deal as well. Jacob Middleton, I'm assuming you're going to be a bit pricey here. If we can do 4.1 million, I wouldn't be against that for you. And then Marco Rossi, you're going to be the big extension. How much money do you want? Okay, this is actually going to be a lot easier than I thought. We're bringing back everyone. So Marco Rossi, here's 3.8 for the next 3. Braden McNabb, what are you thinking? Are we going to keep you around? No, we are not. I'm not doing 5.5 for you. And then with our final extension, that's going to go to Jesper Wallstedt here. We're going to do 2.75 for next season. That's going to keep him on the team for this year and next year. So what we have to do is bring in a couple guys for the bottom 6 this season. The first is going to be Anthony Beauvillier. We'll do $2 million for next year. The next is going to be Matthias Janmark, and we're going to get a reasonable deal done with him, 1.7 for next season. All right, so we're going to have a full season of this team right here. Joel Eriksson, Kirill Kaprizov, Taylor Hall, Matt Boldy, Marco Rossi, Matt Zuccarello. The bottom 6 is in a much better spot, a +2 boost here and then a +1 on the 4th line. We have better line fits across the board here. I'm expecting this team to do a lot better. The defensive core is still really strong. I'm expecting that to be a lot better this season. I think last year was a bit of a fluke with how bad we were. Meanwhile, the goaltending, Phil Gustafsson, he's an 85 overall. Jesper Wallstedt's an 85. I don't care which one of these guys is the starter for us. We have 2 fantastic goaltenders and we're going to be in a better position. Now, I'm very disappointed in this team for one specific reason. For some reason, we don't score goals. We have a 33, 22, and 6 record, which isn't awful, but we're scoring 3.13 goals per game. The defense, 3.08. I mean, the defense isn't great by any metric, but you know what? It could be looking a lot worse. Comparing it to some of the other teams in the league, we're probably middle of the pack. But that offense, yeah, I don't know what's wrong with us, why we can't score goals. We're going to ignore the fact that St. Louis is the worst offensive team in the league. You didn't see that. Okay, Kirill Kaprizov, this is exactly why. You have 15 goals right now. Joel Eriksson has 25. Kirill Kaprizov is here to score goals, and bro has 15 goals right now. Taylor Hall, keep doing your thing. I mean, I can't really complain about this. The plus minus isn't that great. But yeah, what's going on with this team? We should be way better than this. Meanwhile, when it comes to the goaltending tandem, neither of these guys have really been exceptional, so I don't really care who plays in the final stretch of the season. Now, it's very clear that the one thing this team needs right now is goal scoring, so what's going to cost for us to get Kempe? Alright, so this is the deal we're doing. Gaudreau and a first round pick is going to be sent over to the LA Kings. We're going to bring in Kempe for the next couple of years. They're going to say no to a deal like this. I'll throw a 3rd rounder in. I think that will be enough to get this done. Kempe, you're on this team for the foreseeable future. Alright, so with the addition of Kempe, we need to start scoring some goals here. Matt Boldy, you're going to be moving down to the 3rd pairing. This is just what we have to do here. We need this team to see success, and so far, things are not looking good for us. We can't score goals, and that makes no sense considering we have some elite goal scorers, one of them being Kirill Kaprizov. But yeah, 15 goals in 61 games. That's not enough. I need more from you. To finish out the season, the Minnesota Wild are one of the best teams in the league, 7th here with a 45, 30, and 7 record. The offense is looking way better, while the defense, still its old self. But at least Kirill Kaprizov's finally scoring some goals here. He's going to be finishing with 26. Taylor Hall, 75 points. Zuccarello, 71. Kempe, how many goals did you pick up since joining this team? Because that's why you're on this team. We need you to score goals. 8 goals in 21 games, 16 points. You know what? I'll take it. And when it comes to the goaltending, I don't care which one of these guys is our starter. They basically have identical numbers. Jesper Wallstedt had a slightly better season, but you know what? At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter who's in the net. These are virtually identical numbers. If we lose to the Chicago Blackhawks, though, then I will have an issue here. How did Chicago Chicago rebuild this fast? That makes no sense. So the Chicago Blackhawks turned out to be absolute frauds here. We're taking them down in a clean sweep. Now we've moved on to the second round, but now we have to prove that we're legit. We're taking on the Colorado Avalanche. Doesn't matter what year it is, this team's going to be competitive and they're going to be good. After winning the first 2 games and being on a 6-game winning streak, I think the boys got comfortable. We're dropping the next 2, and so far we split the series against Colorado, but now it's time for us to respond, and that's exactly what's happening. Can we close this out in game 6 and make it to the conference finals? The boys are rolling and they're not looking to stop. I know I said the Colorado Avalanche would be our toughest task, but now we have the Dallas Stars. I don't care what their record is. If you made it to the conference finals, you're legit at this point. So it's no surprise the Dallas Stars are competing with us. We've split the series. Game 5 is going to be massive. Who's taking the lead? It looks like it's Minnesota. An 8-0 game. We got all the momentum and we're closing it out here. Well, I guess we're going to have to wait till game 7. So it's game 7 against the Dallas Stars and things aren't looking good. Dallas has a 2-1 lead, but you know what? They're not picking up any goals in the second period, so we can still make this comeback here. That's what we're doing. I need a Kirill Kaprizov goal right here. I need him to show up. Anthony Beauvillier, of all players, is sending us to the Stanley Cup final. What an incredible pickup that was. Now, normally, I wouldn't really care who wins here because it'd be 2 teams winning the first cup, but I'm controlling Minnesota right now, not Buffalo quite yet, so we got to make sure that Minnesota wins here. And Buffalo, once I take over for you, it won't be too long before you see a cup. So we're only in season number 2, and right now the Minnesota Wild are looking absolutely fantastic. We split the series with the Buffalo Sabres. Game 5 is a massive one. Okay, the boys got to respond. Game 6, who's going to be taking this one? A 7-5 victory. Game 7, Stanley Cup's on the line. Minnesota, you might be hoisting your first. So we need the big time players here. The big time players have to make some big time plays. Both teams are picking up 2 goals in the first period. Buffalo's picking up 1 in the second though. Can the boys respond when it matters most? Yes, we can. 3 unanswered. We're Stanley Cup champions. It only took 2 seasons for Minnesota. Minnesota really won a Stanley Cup in 2 seasons here. Ain't no way. When push came to shove, the boys were showing up here. Zuccarello 25 points. Kirill Kaprizov 24 points, but I don't care about the points right now. 13 goals in 24 games. You showed up when it mattered. Kempe 12 goals. You showed up when it mattered. All these guys are playing some great hockey here, and the goaltending from Gustafsson, 16 wins, 2 shots, a 917, a 246. You know what? I had some doubts about you, but you proved me wrong. In Minnesota, you just got your first cup. So I have absolutely nothing to complain about. So far, we're 1 for 1. Minnesota's got a Stanley Cup, but I think this one's going to be a bit tougher. The Ottawa Senators. So we moved on to the Ottawa Senators, and this is going to be a much more difficult rebuild, seeing as they do have a lot fewer pieces. Tim Stützle, Brady Tkachuk, you guys are basically the only untouchable pieces here. I mean, we do have a couple on our defense. Thomas Chabot, Jake Sanderson, you guys are untouchable, and probably Jacob Chikrin. When it comes to the goaltending, Forsberg, we might keep you around as the backup, but at $3 million, it's a bit expensive. Korpisalo, I'm shipping you out as quick as possible. Alright, so I'm cooking up a deal like this, and honestly, it might not make any sense, but in my head, it does, and that's all that matters. Claude Giroux and Brownstrom, I'm going to send both of you guys over to the Columbus Blue Jackets. We're picking up Severson and Texier. Claude Giroux, he's going to keep on getting worse. He's like 36 years old. Age is eventually going to catch up to him, so we might as well ship him out while he's got a bit of value. I'll include this 3rd round pick, and I believe this should be enough to get the deal done. We're pretty close in value. A 7th rounder will make the difference. So here's a 7th rounder for the year 2025, and just like that, we got Severson and Texier. With our next trade, we're just going to do that through Trade Finder, and we're going to be picking up a 2nd and 3rd rounder from the Washington Capitals in exchange for Zub. And after trading Zub away, we're going to be bringing in a replacement. That's going to be Caleb Jones. We just need somebody that can play on the left side and has a good line fit, and that's exactly what he has. But the other reason we traded Zub is because we have to free up cap space, because we have to make another move here. It's going to be Korpisalo and a 2nd round pick over to the Pittsburgh Penguins. We're bringing Tristan Jarry onto this team, and he's going to be our goaltender for the next couple of years. Here's a 4th round pick as well. This should be more than enough to get this deal done. We got a goaltender. Our defense is looking a lot better. Now we just need to work on the forward core. After acquiring Texier, I want to keep him on this team, so we're going to do a 2x2 with him. I think that's probably going to be the only extension we give out here. We can't really give extensions to anyone else yet. Kubalik, I don't really plan on bringing you back here. And when it comes to the goaltending situation, Tristan Jarry is our guy. So we got to keep on clearing up cap space because we're going to keep on making moves. And Josh Norris, you're off to the San Jose Sharks. We're looking to pick up Zutterland and Quentin Musty. Hopefully we can get Quentin Musty in a deal like this because you know he's going to be a good young player. Although he's not going to be jumping onto this team, he is going to be a good trade asset that's going to keep on getting better. So hopefully that trade value continues to go up. Now this is probably going to be the second last move we make, and then we're going to make one massive deal. It's going to be 2 third rounders for Menton, a prospect, and a 2nd over to the Boston Bruins. We're getting Patra and Frederick in this deal. Now, only if the Ottawa Senators had a player like this on their team, Alex DeBrincat, you know, he would bring some great goal scoring to the team, a great offensive player. I feel like this is what the team's missing. So Ottawa's 1st round pick is going to be sent over to the Red Wings, and we're going to be bringing Alex DeBrincat to this team. Yeah, if only Alex DeBrincat had played for the Ottawa Senators at some point, then I think they'd be able to compete for a Stanley Cup. But yeah, That's just never happened. So after all the trades, I think we're going to be able to win a Stanley Cup in the next 3 years. A handful of the guys on this team are going to be getting better. We're getting +2 boosts across the entire forward core here, and every single player except for this guy right here is an 80 overall or above. We're in a good spot. Defensively, Severson was a great pickup because we can move Chikrin down to the second pairing. He's going to get a +1 boost. +1 boost across the entire defensive core here, and with the goaltending, 86 overall Tristan Jarry, I believe he can win a Stanley Cup with this team, so let's go ahead and do that. Now, to turn the Ottawa Senators into Stanley Cup champions is going to take more than I was expecting, but the one thing I should mention, for the first 30 games of the season, we were dead last in our division. Now we're 12th in the entire league with a 33-22-6 record. This team's actually performing. Our offense is as good as our defense, but that's also not saying much because neither are good. But you know what? The team's been turning it up over the past 30 games, so I'm not too worried. Tim Stutzel, 61 points, Brady Tkachuk, 53, Alex DeBrincat, 48. I mean, I would like to see a bit more scoring here, but you know what? I'll take what we have. The goaltending numbers from Tristan Jarry, 24 wins, 3 shots, a 9-12 and a 293. I believe in what we built here. Time will tell though. Now the real question is, do we make a trade here? Because we are trying to compete every single year, but can we win a Stanley Cup? I'm not too sure if we can do that yet. So we're going to make one move at the trade deadline. Max Pacioretty was acquired from the Washington Capitals, and now he's on the Winnipeg Jets, but I want Pacioretty on our team, so we're trading a 5th rounder, a 6th rounder, and Thomas Hamonic over there. Did I say Thomas Hamonic? Travis Hamonic. So by making that trade, Max Pacioretty is going to be a top 6 guy for us. He's going to be replacing Kubalik, and Kubalik, he's going to get moved down to the 4th line. Now the boys didn't look good this season, there's no question about it, but 12th in the entire league and in the playoffs, we'll definitely take that. 44, 30, and 8. Hey, a playoff appearance for Ottawa? That's very rare nowadays. After that 30 game mark though, we were one of the best teams in the league, there's no question about it. Tim Stutzel, 75 points here, Brady Tkachuk, 66, Alex DeBrincat, 66. Don't sleep on the Ottawa Senators, we've been actually playing some great hockey here. And Tristan Jarry, so was he, 33 wins, 4 shots, a 914 to 282. It's time for us to surprise some people. But that first team we have to surprise is the New York Rangers. Boy, are we in trouble. Yeah, if we're being completely honest with ourselves, we're not beating the New York Rangers. We're down 3-1 in the series. Yeah, we got eliminated in 5 here. Nobody is surprised about this outcome, but we will be better for next season. That's a fact. Okay, I just saw who our leading scorer was. It was Kubalik, who's playing 4th line minutes. The top guys did absolutely nothing here. Brady Tkachuk, you had 2 points. Where is Tim Stutzel? DeBrincat, he had 1 point. Stutzel had 1. That's why we lost to the Rangers. We actually might have stood a chance if somebody on this team performed. Tristan Jarry, yeah, I mean, you got to be better than this. I can't even blame it on the offense. You were allowing 4 goals per game. Thought I'd just check into the postseason to see what happened. Chicago made it all the way to the Stanley Cup final in the year 2024. That same Blackhawks team that finished 2nd last in the entire league, Stanley Cup final. Just thought I'd mention that. Okay, so we just got the 12th overall pick from the Boston Bruins. How did that team just finish in the lottery? That makes 0 sense. Also, how did Pittsburgh not finish in the lottery? Because their pick should have went to San Jose. How did that work? Okay, so the rule was I couldn't do any cheating when it came to trading for 1st round picks. However, I can trade for prospects. Sam Dickinson, welcome to the team. That 12th overall was going to be a medium top 6 potential player. I just flipped into a medium elite who will eventually trade later. And we don't have to make a ton of signs here, but Shane Pinto is going to get $2 million for the next 3. Kubalik, we're probably going to let you walk here unless you want to sign something really reasonable. I'm not really sure if I want to do that. Max Pacioretty, you're also going to be walking. Yeah, 3.3, I don't want to do that. And then with Sogard, we're going to do this contract right here. And then Forsberg, we're going to trade you away because you're getting paid like $3 million. We don't need you to be our backup. Now, we do have to make a couple of re-signings here. The first is going to be going to Chikrin. What's he going to be looking for? Okay, we can definitely do this. We're going to do $6 million for the next 3 years. Let's actually make that 5.9. So 5.9 million is going to Chikrin. We're going to give Trent Frederick a deal here too. We'll give him 2.1 million. Ridley Gregg, we can bring you back as well, 1.5 for next season. And then Zutherland, what are you looking for? Hopefully something pretty similar. Yeah, we're just going to ride your contract out. We're going to get a deal done with Bernard Docker here, 1.5 million for the next 3. He plays some good 3rd pairing minutes for us. So we need an elite 2-way forward for our top line, and Troy Terry's going to be that guy. So Drake Batherson, the 1st round pick, is being sent over to Anaheim. They're going to be saying no to this deal. I'll take the 3rd round route, and then we'll get this deal done. All right, at no point did I ever say this was going to be realistic. Sam Dickinson, Quentin Musty, you're off to the Columbus Blue Jackets. We're getting Adam Fantilli here. Fantilli is going to be a great bottom 6 piece for us. Ideally, he jumps up to like an 83 overall by the beginning of the season. He's going to play some good bottom 6 minutes for us, and he's going to help us get a Stanley Cup. So after a couple acquisitions over the off season, the guy's getting better. We're in a great great spot here. Poitras up to an 84. Stutzel, Brady Tkachuk, Troy Terry at the top line. DeBrincat, of course, Poitras, and then Frederick on the second. The bottom six is looking great here. Adam Fantilli was the new acquisition. He's getting a +2 boost on that third line, while the fourth line, they're getting a +2 as well. The defense is still looking strong here. Chabot and Severson, Chikrin and Sanderson. We're not going to worry too much about the third pairing, but those guys are elite. And you know who else is elite? Tristan Jarry right now, an 87 overall. He's going to get a couple X factors, and he's going to get us a Stanley Cup this season. We're going 2 for 2 in year 2. I also never ended up trading Forsberg. We're just going to ride out his contract. So it's safe to say the Ottawa Senators have solved all their problems. Third in the entire league with a 38, 19, and 7 record. The offense is flying, but that defense is absolutely spectacular. I would like us to score some more goals, though. I was trying to gas up the offense there, but it really isn't that good. Alex DeBrincat 61, Tim Stutzel 57, Thomas Chabot 49. The big time players are making some plays here, but it could be better. Tristan Jarry 29 wins, 5 shots, a 916, a 273. I can live with these numbers. What I can't live with is our offensive production. It's got to be better. And one guy who can help this offense, Alex Tuch. $4.7 million for the next 2 years. We'll have him for the rest of this rebuild. A first and second rounder is definitely worth it. So this Alex Tuch deal is working out way better than I thought because he has such a great line fit on the second line. So it's going to be Alex Tuch, Matt Poitras, and Alex DeBrincat for next season. This top six is set. The bottom six is basically set here. We're bringing everyone back. This team's in a really good spot, no question about it. So I don't even know what to say. You're going to notice that we're not first in the entire league, not second, not third, not fourth, not fifth. Yeah, things did not go well for the Ottawa Senators after the trade deadline. 10th in the entire league. We just finished 10th. We went like 4-18 to finish out the season. This team was incredibly bad. It really makes no sense that we were this bad after acquiring Alex Tuch, but I really want to know what this man's numbers were because this team was so incredibly bad. How did you put up these numbers and we still sucked? What happened to this team? Like something triggered and then we immediately started playing like crap. Tristan Jarry, 34 wins here, 6 shots, a 914 to 286. Like what actually happened to the Ottawa Senators? We got the Rangers in the first round again. Things were looking really good at the trade deadline and then Ottawa collapsed. Yeah, so we're getting smoked by the Rangers. Who would have saw this one coming? We're not even making a comeback here, not even attempting one. We're down in 5 games once again. We have one more season to win this team a Stanley Cup. We almost have to run it back with the exact same core. We were incredible at the trade deadline. Then something happened to this team. So the Rangers are going to end up making it to the Stanley Cup final, but unfortunately they're going to lose to the Edmonton Oilers. Ottawa, you have one more season to win a Stanley Cup. If Minnesota's winning one in year number 2, you should be able to win one in year number 3 with me as your GM. I make moves happen and I make good teams. So you know what? We actually have the money to bring back Sutherland. He's being a bit more reasonable. Here's 2.7 for next season. And then Thompson will keep you on the team as well. What are you looking for? We'll do 1.7 for you. These are the only 2 signings we're doing here. Forsberg, you're going to be walking. We're running it back with the exact same team. We're going to see success this time. I mean, we would be bringing Sutherland back if you accepted that deal. Here's 2.9. I'll give you exactly what you want. We were looking perfectly fine up until the trade deadline, and then something happened. All right, boys, we know what's on the line here. Tim Stutzel, you're 90 overall. Brady Tkachuk an 88. Troy Terry at 86. Look at all the amazing talent we have here. 85 overall Fantilli, 86 overall Frederick, and 84 overall Pinto, and this team is still not scoring goals or seeing any success. Severson, remind me to never trade for you ever again. I don't know what it is, but every single time I trade for you, within 2 years you've dropped 3 overalls. I had you playing number 1 line minutes. You're only 31 years old. So when I originally acquired you, you were only 29. At 29 years old, you're like, you know what? This is the best I'm getting. I'm going to immediately fall off a cliff. I'm not going to have a slow decline. Nope. Once I hit 30 years old, I'm immediately going to start declining rapidly. And probably by the time this man turns 32, he's going to be a 79 overall. Honestly, it's beyond ridiculous. You know what? That's my rant for today's video. We're looking at the goaltending. Tristan Jarry, he's got an X factor. Sogard, he's an 84 overall backup. This team should do really well. And you know what? I'm going to stand on business. I believe that this team can win a Stanley Cup. I know this team can win a Stanley Cup based on how good we were before the trade deadline last season. So you know what we're doing? Simming right to the end of the season. This is the team I built, and this is the team we win with. Right to the end of the season here, Ottawa, you better finish in the top 3. So I'm just going to point this out right here. 20-3. We are a good team. So the Ottawa Senators were a 60-win team this season, 61-17-4. I can't celebrate this right now. We have the best offense, or one of the best offenses, and the best defense in the league. I don't even need to look at the stats. I already know our defense is one of the best. I don't care about these stats right here, and I don't care about the goaltending numbers. Now you might be wondering, why do I not care about these numbers? I accidentally simulated the first game of the postseason. How did we lose? Yep, we lost game number 1 to the Columbus Blue Jackets. We were a 61-win team, and we drop game 1. There is nothing I can be happy about right now. I don't care this team just won 61 games, had a 61-17-4 record. We lost game number 1 in overtime. What is going on here? So we split the series so far with the Columbus Blue Jackets, but considering we're a 61 win team, just want to emphasize that we shouldn't even be in this game right now. We should not be playing game 6. We should not be playing game 7 either. Now, you know what? It would only be fitting for the Ottawa Senators to somehow lose to the Columbus Blue Jackets. We're trailing heading into the third period here. 61 win team, by the way. Let's spin that wheel. I don't even want to know who wins the Stanley Cup. So we're 1 for 2 on rebuilds right now, and you're telling me the one season we don't win, we have a 61-17-4 record or whatever it was, I don't even remember, and we don't win a Stanley Cup. We don't win a Stanley Cup with the 61 win team, but we won with the 45 win Minnesota Wild. Honestly, it doesn't make sense, but you know what? We got to move on here, and it looks like that next team's going to be the Seattle Kraken. So we moved on to the newest franchise in the Seattle Kraken. They got a bunch of great pieces we can work around here. Matty Beniers, Tolvanen, of course, Andre Burakovsky, the best player on this team. We got lots to work with. The only issue I have with Jared McCann is he doesn't have a great fit here on the top line. Jordan Eberle, he has a great line fit, but I don't know how long he's going to be sticking on this team. I don't think we're going to keep him all 3 years. Defensively, we're going to be led by Vince Dunn and Adam Larsson, 2 guys I can rely on. However, Adam Larsson does have a really poor line fit, so more than likely we're going to be trading him away here. Goaltending wise, we got to pick somebody up. I don't think Joey Daccord can be the guy for us, but you know what? Time will tell. So this is the first trade we're looking at here. Adam Larsson's going over to the Arizona Coyotes or Utah whatevers, and we're going to be picking up Sean Durzi, 86 overall. He has a better fit on the top pairings, and that's exactly what we need here. I'm shipping this package over. They're going to be saying no. A 4th rounder will make the difference. It's really not going to take too much more. So here's a 4th rounder for 2025, and Sean Durzi, welcome to the team. Now, this is a very risky move, but I think it could potentially work out for us. Yanni Gordon, Bjorkstrand, neither of you guys have great line fits, but you know who does have a good line fit? Johnny Hockey and Corrali here. So the goal is to pick up both of these guys for this package right here. We're getting both of them. That's a high risk, high reward move. It's either going to work out for us or we just wasted a lot of money. So I think this is going to be the last move we do before heading into next season, but don't quote me on that. Jordan Eberle and 2 third-round picks are being sent over to the Boston Bruins. We're getting Pavel Zacha. He's going to be a good second line piece for us. He's going to have a great line fit on the team. This move is definitely worth it. I definitely don't have to give a 4th round pick though. We can do a 7th from the Calgary Flames. This is going to be enough for us to get Pavel Zacha, and now we're ready to make a push for a Stanley Cup. Alright, so I capped about that being our final move because I just realized 4 of the guys on our bottom 6 here have terrible line fits, so that means we have to trade them away. So we're going to be moving on to the Nashville Predators here, and Thomas Tatar along with a 3rd round pick is going to be sent over, and we're picking up Sissons. He's an 81 overall that can play some bottom 6 minutes for us. I got no issue with the deal like this. So the moves are going to continue here. Now we're picking up Zetterlund from the San Jose Sharks. It's going to be Tanev in a 2nd round pick. Probably didn't have to give up a 2nd rounder. Probably could have been a 3rd, but you know what? We got the guy we want, and we're making that deal. So this is probably going to be the final trade, but once again, that could be a lie. It's going to be Schwartz and 2 4th rounders over to the Calgary Flames, and we're picking up Connor Zary. We just have to dump that contract. That's the main reason we're making a deal like this, because we have to make sure that we have enough money for all these guys right here. We're starting with Sean Durzi. We're going to do 4.7 for the next 3. Matty Beniers is definitely not going to be a cheap contract, but this is better than I thought it would be. 4.4 for the next 5. We also got to make sure that Tolvanen is going to be locked down here. We're going to do $4 million for the next 2. So this is the team we're going to be rocking with this season. We're definitely not going to be winning a Stanley Cup with this core, but ideally a handful of guys get better. Pavel Zacha, I'm hoping you're up to an 86 overall. Matty Beniers, you better be up to an 87. Tolvanen's going to keep on getting better. A handful of guys on the bottom 6 will get better. The defense is in a pretty solid spot. A +2 boost on the 1st pairing, a +3 on the 2nd, and we have a really solid 3rd pairing right here. We actually might do better than I'm expecting. And then with the goaltending, that's staying the exact same. No changes are happening there. So I'm very happy with the Seattle Kraken this season. 6th in the entire league with a 34, 21, and 8 record. Now, although the offense is really good right now, it's one of the best in the entire league. 2nd, our defense definitely has to be better. 3.14. That's not going to be good enough when the playoffs come around. Now, this is something you'd love to see. Johnny Hockey, 65 points in 63 games, 20 goals, 45 helpers. What a pickup that was. Vince Dunn, 56 points. Pavel Zacha, 51. But we got a lot of guys having some great seasons here. Even look at Ty Karche playing some 3rd line minutes. He's got 46 points. The boys are rolling. The goaltending, actually not too bad here. However, I think we do need an upgrade, and I just figured out who that guy's going to be. So let's get this deal done right here. Joey Daccord, I have no problem with you whatsoever. You're an 84 overall and you're a great goaltender. However, we could get Linus Ullmark, a 90 overall. He's got X factors. This is the move that we're doing. They're going to be saying no to this right here. We'll just throw a couple more picks in the mix. Here's a 5th and 6th rounder. I feel like this should be more than enough to get the deal done. Ullmark, you're going to be joining the Seattle Kraken. You're going to be the goaltender that hoists the Stanley Cup for us. Here's a 6th round pick as well. They're still saying no. What's it going to take to get Ullmark here? I mean, I guess the simplest solution is just to use our 1st round pick for next season. season that has way more value. I'll offer that over to the Boston Bruins. Linus Ullmark, carry us the rest of the way. So to close out the season, Seattle's still looking great here. 7th in the entire league with a 44-29-9 record. The offense is great, but how's the defense looking? Basically the exact same. I honestly thought Linus Ullmark would be the difference. The real thing we can celebrate though is Johnny Hockey being over a point a game. He's got 86. Paul Valzaka's 72, but Burakovsky had 51 points this season. 2 game winners. That's the most important stat we need to see today. The goaltending numbers for Ullmark though, I'm actually very curious to see what he did since joining the team. A 901 and a 306. Okay, maybe it's just the defense and not necessarily the goaltender. But you know what? We got Ullmark for the next 2 years at 90 overall. I shouldn't say next 2. It's this season and next season. We'll keep him on the team for all 3. But yeah, we got to improve that defense a little bit. But we might not have to improve the defense if we go on some crazy run here. We got the Edmonton Oilers in the first round. Now, although we had a better record than the Edmonton Oilers, they have Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, and that's really all you need. That offense is absolutely flying right now. We got to respond against them. The defense just couldn't stop their offense, plain and simple. It was a tough matchup against Edmonton. We really shouldn't have been favored there. Our defense is definitely lacking. So the offseason is going to be pretty easy. We know where our weaknesses are. The young guys are going to get better. We're just going to improve that defense, then we'll be ready to rock next season. So I guess Edmonton was way better than what their record showed because they were a 39-win team that made it all the way to the Stanley Cup final, had a 3-1 series lead, but eventually lost to the New York Rangers. So yeah, they were legit even though they only won 39 games. Alright, so as we know, we got to improve the defense here, and I'm not really too sure how much this is going to be helping us. Jamie Alexiak, I'm going to send you over to the Winnipeg Jets. We're going to get Jake Wallman. He's going to have a better fit on the third pairing. I think it's worth making a trade like this, even though it's the same overall. So we know our defense has to be better here, so that's why we're going to try to pick up Eric Chernak. I don't really care too much about that 3rd round pick. I do want to get this deal done, though. So I think I'll include a 5th rounder in the deal, and that should be enough to get this done. Eric Chernak, welcome to the team. They're really saying no to this. Here's a 6th and 7th round pick. I want to get this trade done before Anaheim makes their selection. There we go. We got Eric Chernak. So to finish off the draft here, we're going to be sending our 2nd rounder over to the Buffalo Sabres, and we're going to be picking up 2 future 3rds. Sakaru Yamamoto, you were pretty solid for our 4th line, so we're going to be bringing you back. We're doing 1.9 for the next 2. Hopefully you accept that deal. That's actually a steal for us, and I think that's really going to be the only guy we're bringing back here. Now, of course, the first extension has to go to Ullmark, 6.3 for the next 7. You're going to be the goaltender that wins a Stanley Cup for us. Zarlin, I'd like to keep you on this team as well. Hopefully you accept something like this, 4.3 for the next 3. Ty Cartier, you just had an incredible year, so let's bring you back as well. We're going to do 3.6 for the next 4. And then I think for now, those are going to be the only extensions we do. Because when it comes to a guy like Brian Dumoulin, I don't really want to bring him back. We're probably just going to ride out his contract. Yeah, I'm not giving him $5.7 million. That's not happening. Now, this is an absolute no-brainer. Philip Grubauer, you're off to the Dallas Stars. We're getting a prospect, and we're also clearing up $5.9 million. And with that money we just freed up, Sean Corelli and Connor Zary are going to be both coming back to the team. Now, we don't have to do a lot of moves in free agency, but I do want to bring in Tyler Myers on a 1-year deal at $3.3 million. We're going to keep on making moves, and the next one's going to Adam Henrique. Here's $3 million for 1 year. And then why not bring Alex Wenberg onto the team? We're actually going to do a multi-year deal here. We're going to do 1.7 for the next 2. To cap off free agency, we do need to sign a backup goaltender, so Scott Wedgwood, 1.75 for the next 2. Why not? So not only did the young guys improve, basically everyone improved here. Zarlin's up to an 86 overall. Cartier's up to an 84. The team's just looking fantastic. Johnny Hockey's back in his prime. He's up to an 87 overall. The defense is looking spectacular as well. A +4 boost on the first pairing, +1 on the second, and then a +3 on the third. And to cap it all off, we have Linus Ullmark in between the pipes. This is a great defense. We're better than last season. The goaltending is looking fantastic. The only thing that's going to stop this team is ourselves. So I guess the worst thing that has happened to this team is bringing Linus Ullmark here, because ever since we did that, we've been an absolute disappointment. Where's the Seattle Kraken? I know we're far down. We are not a good team. Are we below 20th in the entire league? Yes, we are. 21st in the entire league, a 29, 28, and 4 record. I don't even know what to say about that. Alright, so there's really nothing I can do when it comes to trades. We're not scoring goals, we're not playing defense. Literally, the only thing I could do is trade the entire team away. I believe we're a good team. We have great line chemistry, we got some great overalls on this team. I don't really know why we're not succeeding. So let's just simulate the rest of the season here. Hopefully we can get into the playoffs and go on some miracle run, but I really doubt that's going to happen. Now, we didn't go on a miracle run, but we were definitely a lot better after the trade deadline. 14th in the entire league with a 41, 33, and 8 record. The most important thing to note here, we're in the postseason. Surprisingly, the thing that held us back this season, the offense. Not a single player on this team could score. I don't know why, we just could not score goals. Defensively, we weren't even that bad. Linus Ullmark, 35 wins, 2 shots on 912 and a 295. These aren't good numbers, but the save percentage is pretty good. So all we can really do here is pray that we go on some miracle run. Do I think that's going to happen? Absolutely not. Should we be a better team? Absolutely. There's a lot of variables at play when it comes to this first matchup against the Colorado Avalanche. So we've been exchanging games with the Colorado Avalanche. There's no reason we should be competing right now, but we do have a 3-2 series lead. Can we close this out in game number 6? No, we can't. We need game 7. But if we're going to be completely honest with ourselves, there's no reason we should be in Game 7 right now. Colorado's definitely the better team. We're tied entering the third period, and in the third period, Landeskog's picking up the winner and we're eliminated. We got one more season to win a Stanley Cup. Things aren't looking good for Seattle. So when push came to shove, the big-time players just didn't make big-time plays here. The fact that Jake Wallman, a defensive defenseman, had 4 goals in 7 games, that tells you something. He had the most goals on our team. That just can't happen. Meanwhile, Linus Ullmark, I can't really expect too much more. A 926 and a 255. The offense just has to be better, plain and simple. So no wonder the Seattle Kraken didn't see a lot of success this season. The simulation's broken. Toronto made it to the Stanley Cup final. That's not realistic. Now, we're not going to be doing too much of the draft here other than acquiring a second or third round pick for the future. We're going to use those 2 picks in trades for next season. We got to get this team a Stanley Cup. We have 1 year left. We should have been a lot better than we were last season, though. Like, last season was such a disappointment. I can't even express it. Now, when it comes to the re-sign phase, I'm actually not going to be re-signing anyone here because the guys that are UFAs or RFAs, I don't really need on this team. I mean, Riker Evans, I will give you a deal. We can definitely do this. That would have been a stupid deal not to do. Cale Fleury, we can also do a deal like this. You want 1.1 for next season? Why not? So this is what the plan is. Jared McCann, a second round pick's being shipped over to the Dallas Stars. We're going to get Logan Stankoven here. He's going to play some top line minutes for us. He's going to be a great sniper. And you know what he's going to do on this team? Score goals. I don't know why we can't score goals, but we can't. Here's 2 second rounders instead of a second and a third. This should be more than enough. Honestly, at this point, we're just getting finessed, but I don't care. Here's 2 third round picks as well. I just want to get this deal done. Logan Stankoven, welcome to the team. All right, so things have definitely not gone our way here, and I'm about to make a very, very bad decision. You see what we're doing. Andre Burakovsky in a first round pick for Vladimir Tarasenko. Burakovsky just hasn't performed here. We need a guy like Vladimir Tarasenko. This deal hurts me so much. You do not understand how much a deal like this hurts me. But then again, we're bringing in Vladimir Tarasenko, a St. Louis legend. I think it's going to work out for us in the long run. All right, so plain and simple, we're incredibly desperate. Jacob Chychrun, it's time to give you an absolute bag. I'm giving you $7.7 million for next season. After giving Jacob Chychrun that bag, we do need to bring one more guy onto the team here. I don't really care who it is. Are we really going to be bringing back Brian Dumoulin? We might be doing that. So here you go, Brian. You're coming back to the team for one more season, $4.6 million. Now, this is going to be the last move to the team here. We're probably not going to be able to make any trades at the trade deadline, but we're picking up Sokolov from the Anaheim Ducks. He was selected first overall 2 years ago. Now he's joined the team. He's providing some bottom 6 scoring. This team should be fine now. Okay, the one thing this team should have no issue with is scoring goals. Logan Stankoven, Sokolov, he's actually going to play some top 6 minutes. Vladimir Tarasenko. This top 6 is going to be scoring 4 goals a game. There's no reason it should be otherwise. The bottom 6, they're going to pick up goals from time to time. Defensively, we have a lot of offensive firepower here. Vince Dunn, Sean Durzi, Jacob Chychrun. We're going to score goals and we're going to be pretty good at defense. We got Linus Ullmark in between the pipes. Just win when it matters. I don't care what you guys do during the regular season. I need something other than a first round exit. I don't want a second round exit or a conference finals exit either. I want a Stanley Cup. All right, so I just saw the stats of this team and I am so incredibly disappointed for multiple reasons. 14th in the entire league. I don't care about this. Look at the offense. 2.98. We have the best defense in the league at 2.61, but 2.98. We do know who's on this team. We do know how many snipers we have. Logan Stankoven's leading the way, 46 points. Vladimir Tarasenko, 45. Johnny Gaudreau, 44. What happened to this team? We have the same coach from year number 1, but he has an 80% team fit and is an A+ coach. Yet we can't score goals here, and he's offensive oriented. I don't know what's going on here. Linus Ullmark, this is an incredible season, but why can't we score goals? I honestly don't think we should make any trades here because we brought 3 snipers to the team and we still can't score goals. What's really going to change? We could bring Mark Stone to this team, we could bring Alexander Ovechkin, and we could bring somebody else. I don't even know who it would be. Tomas Hertl. All 3 of those guys could come to the team and still not going to improve our offense. So yeah, we're not making any trades here. We're rocking the team we have. We just need to score goals in the playoffs. That's all that matters. Who cares if we can't score goals during the regular season? We just need to score them in the playoffs. So yeah, let's just take a look at the matchups in the Western Conference here. Dallas is taking on Minnesota. Okay, that's an interesting matchup. We have Colorado versus Winnipeg. That's exactly what's going on right now. We have the Vancouver Canucks and LA Kings. And to finish it all off, the Edmonton Oilers and St. Louis Blues. Of course, St. Louis being an incredible team. Where's Seattle? And simply because this team could not score goals right here, we're not making the playoffs. We scored 3.04 goals per game. We had one of the best defenses. This might be the best defense in the league. I got to double check this. We were elite defensively, one of the best in the entire league. Where were we? We were second in the entire league. This team had one of the worst offenses though. We were so bad offensively, we didn't make the playoffs. We had Logan Stankoven, a sniper. Tarasenko, a sniper. Sokolov, a sniper. 52 points. Bro had 52 points to 24 goals. Why didn't we score? This team right here had all the potential to win a Stanley Cup. Our coach held us back. He was an A-plus coach that had a great team fit, and we still couldn't see any success. So we're not going to talk about what happened with the Seattle Kraken. I can't even express my disappointment in words with that team. Every season, we somehow got worse. This team's going to be very interesting to rebuild. The Nashville Predators, they have a lot of great pieces on this team, but is it going to be enough to win? We're about to find that out. All right, so the Nashville Predators have a lot of great pieces here. Ryan O'Reilly, Philip Forsberg, stick on the ice legend Novak, Nyquist, of course, but then we have some of the true legends, Luke Evangelista, and a healthy scratch being Philip Tomasino. Is he the AHL? Ain't no way my man, Philip Tomasino, is in the AHL. That's just disrespectful to him. Defensively, we got some great pieces here. Of course, Roman Josi, Ryan McDonough is here as well. A handful of these guys aren't going to be sticking around for the entire rebuild. I can almost guarantee this entire right side is going to be changing. However, the one thing that won't be changing is the goaltending. UC Saros, you're going to be here all 3 years. With that being said, though, we do need to make some changes to the forward core, so let's get the move started. So Nyquist, although you're having a fantastic season and you're a great player, you're 34 years old. I don't know what your regression is going to be looking like. You can drop down to an 81 overall by the beginning of next season. I don't want to take that risk. So I'm sending you over to the San Jose Sharks, and we're going to try to pick up some picks here. I really did not think we were going to be getting a third and 2 fourth rounders, but you know what? I'll take it. Now this is going to be our high risk, high reward move. 2 second rounders, Janikowski is going to be sent over to the Winnipeg Jets. We're going to get Tyler Toffoli and then give him an extension to stay on this team. He's 31 years old. We can get 3 good years out of him. He's going to play some top line minutes for us. This might be a massive risk, but you know what? I think it's going to work out for this team. I'm going to send that package over. They're saying no, but luckily we did get a 3rd round pick in our last deal, and I think that will be enough here. So here's Tampa's 3rd round pick. I'm sending that over to Winnipeg. They're still saying no. We got lots of draft picks here. Here's another 3rd rounder. This one's from the Dallas Stars. So 2 seconds, 2 thirds, and Janikowski over to the Winnipeg Jets, and we still can't get this done. Yeah, we're going to have to give up a lot, aren't we? Screw it. 3 second rounders in Janikowski. This is way too much for Tyler Toffoli. Adding a 3rd rounder would be absolutely ridiculous. What idiot would do that? Stick on the ice, Wood. Here you go. Here's the 3rd rounder as well. Yeah, you should have accepted this. All right, so I'm cooking up a deal here, and on paper, this might not make a lot of sense. We're bringing Mason McTavish onto the team. We're actually going to be trading him. We just got to do a 3-team trade here. But Mason McTavish, we're going to be acquiring you for a 2nd, and a 3rd, and a prospect. I actually don't even know if we sent over a prospect. That man could have been in the NHL for the last 3 seasons. We threw somebody in the deal, but now it's time for him to be flipped. And Mason McTavish, this is where you're going to be flipped along with a 3rd round pick. You're off to the Winnipeg Jets, and we're going to be bringing in Tyler Toffoli. Now, Tyler Toffoli, this is a high risk, high reward move. I can't even guarantee we're going to bring him back onto the team next season. We're going to do everything in our power to re-sign him, but I can't guarantee we'll be able to. Okay, so I've offered more than enough multiple times, but Mason McTavish, 2 3rd rounders and a 4th for Tyler Toffoli. Is this too much? Absolutely, but we got the guy we want and we got the guy we need. Now, Tyler Toffoli, you are certainly not doing us any solids here, but we got to make sure we lock you down here. We're doing 7.2 for the next 3 years. That is quite the bag I just gave you, but we have to do it. Now, this next trade is going to hurt me a lot inside. You know why? We have to give up one of the greatest of all time, Thomas Novak, a stick on the ice legend. But the problem is he doesn't have a good line fit with the team here, so unfortunately we are going to have to give you up. Matthias Michelli and Soderstrom, luckily you have better line fits here, so we're going to acquire you from the Arizona Coyotes. So we got to keep on making moves here. We got to rebuild this team a little bit. Sissons Fabro, a 3rd and 4th round is going to be sent over to Montreal. We're bringing in Newhook and Gooley. Gooley, of course, is a stick on the ice legend, but Newhook low-key is as well. He's been on a handful of teams I've rebuilt, and you know what? I'm going to see him play some big minutes today. All right, so this deal has potential to be very good for us or be an absolute waste of time. Kemmel and 2 AHL players are going to be sent over to the LA Kings. We're picking up Kaliev, Grundstrom, Matt Roy, a 3rd and 4th rounder. We're getting some bottom 6 players. We're getting some more defensive help here. This deal is very risky. We're definitely getting finessed here because Kemmel has way more trade value. But you know what? We got to get the guys we need. So Ryan McDonough, you and Nyquist are in a pretty similar situation, but I really don't know what your decline is going to be like. You're 34 years old. You could drop to an 81 by the beginning of next season. We can't have that, but we could take a 2nd round from the San Jose Sharks. That's definitely a good move for us. So we got to continue rebuilding this team, and Torpachenko could be a great piece for the bottom 6. So we're giving up San Jose's 2nd rounder as well as an AHL player for Torpachenko and 2 3rd round picks. I'm actually really surprised we were able to get 2 3rd round picks on top of Torpachenko. So we're taking a bit of a gamble on this deal right here. It's going to be a 3rd, a 4th rounder, and one of our young guys over to the Ottawa Senators. We're going to pick up Shane Pinto for the 4th line. Now this is probably going to be the last move we make make here. We're picking up Romanov from the Islanders. We need somebody to play some third pairing minutes for us, and that's exactly where he's going to fit in. I'll give him a 7th rounder as well because they're saying no to the deal right now. But as we know, a 7th rounder, the most lucrative draft pick. I almost gave up a 1st round pick. That could have been tough, but here's a 6th rounder, and we got this deal done. So these are the lines we're going to be rocking. It's going to be Ryan O'Reilly, Matthias Michelli, and Tyler Toffoli on the number 1 line. Then Evangelista, Alex Newhook, and Phil Forsberg on the 2nd. Now this team more than likely is not going to be good this season. We're probably going to be a bottom 10 team. However, all the young guys on this team are going to keep on getting better, and they're going to be even better next season, and then that's when we'll be ready to compete. We got to take 1 season off here. The defense is actually in a really good spot. We got some great pieces and great line chemistry, and we also have UC Saros, and he can definitely steal us a playoff series or 2. I guess it also wouldn't hurt to mention that I am trading Luke Shen, and we're getting a 2nd and 3rd rounder for him. We just have to clear up that cap space. Now, all we have to do before we get into next season is give out some extensions. Matt Waugh, here's 3.8 for the next 4. And Kaliev, here's 1.5 for the next 2. Okay, so here we are at the trade deadline. The Nashville Predators are pretty good. 40, 16, and 8. We're first in the entire league. Yeah, the Nashville Predators are first in the entire league. I don't know what's going on here. Tyler Toffoli, you might be one of the greatest players of all time. Phil Forsberg, you're pretty good as well. Roman Josi, Ryan O'Reilly, Matthias Michelli, Alex Newhook. How is this team doing as well as they are? This makes absolutely no sense. And on top of that, we have UC Saros putting up numbers like this. 36 wins, 3 shots, a 907 and a 286. I don't even know what to say about this team. It's just incredibly impressive. But now that we know this team is just stupid elite, we better make some trades here because we can actually compete for a Stanley Cup. So the boys are looking absolutely fantastic right now, and there really isn't any need for us to make any moves. However, I do want to make one. I want to see if we can pick up Max Patre and Simon Milano here. I'm not really too sure where they're going to fit on this team, but you know what? We're going to pick them up and we're going to find a spot for them. They're certainly not going to make our team any worse here. They're just going to make us even better, and I think the only weak spot on this team is the bottom 6, so that just got better. Okay, so that move did not work out for us whatsoever. Simon Milano has a terrible line fit, and so is Max Patre, so they're both going to be healthy scratches here. Yeah, that was just a waste of a 2nd round pick, but you know what? I want to take the risk here, but at the end of the day, I think that actually might work out for us. Our team's number 1 in the entire league. Let's not mess anything up. Let's rock with what we have. Now, to finish out the season, Nashville's going to be dropping from 1st to 2nd, but I can't complain about a 50-win season here. The offense is looking great, while the defense is as well. The fact that Nashville's this good near number 1 makes absolutely no sense to me. Also, stick on the ice feels like absolute crap, so the face cam's gone for the rest of the video. You just get to listen to my glorious, sick voice. Tyler Toffoli, 88 points here, 33 goals. Philip Forsberg, 41 goals here. He's got 87 points. Roman Josi leading the defense, 79 points. While the goaltending from UC Saros, absolutely spectacular. 45 wins, 4 shots, a 909 to 284. Now, the fact that Nashville's gone this miracle run so far this season, for some reason, I just feel we're going to lose in the 1st round to the Winnipeg Jets. That would only be fitting for a 50-win team such as us to lose in the 1st round. Now, to my surprise, the boys are actually rolling here. We're not going to be losing to the Winnipeg Jets unless we choke a 3-1 series lead. All right, we lost game number 5 here. We can't be losing game 6 here. We got to close this one out, and that's exactly what we're doing in a 4-3 win. So to my surprise, the boys didn't choke when it mattered most, and we made it to the 2nd round, but now we have a really tough matchup, the Dallas Stars, and the Dallas Stars are no joke. Nashville better be prepared. Yes, you remember how I said the Dallas Stars are going to be a really tough matchup for us? You know what? They're going to put up a good fight. Yeah, we swept them. Dallas got smoked. So the miracle run for the Nashville Predators is going to continue here. We're in the conference finals. We have the Edmonton Oilers up next. We're going to get past Edmonton, and then we're going to have our toughest task, the Carolina Hurricanes or New Jersey Devils. More than likely, it's going to be Carolina. That team's absolutely elite. Of course, the Oilers are going to steal a couple games here. They have Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. What more do you really need? If you have those 2 guys in your team and they're producing, then you're going to be winning games. Unfortunately, we're going to be dropping game number 6 here, so that means we're off to game 7. So here we go, game 7, Nashville versus Edmonton. The winner's off to the Stanley Cup final. We're scoring 3 goals in the 1st period. We got this game locked down. Okay, never mind. I was about to say we almost lost here, but these aren't Oiler goals. These are more Nashville goals. We're taking this one 5-2 when we're in the Stanley Cup final. So here we are, the Stanley Cup final, year number 1 for the Nashville Predators. This team has gone the most unrealistic run of all time. We need to cap it off with an unrealistic Stanley Cup. Ain't no way this is a 1-year rebuild. So here we go, the Stanley Cup final, the Nashville Predators taking on the New Jersey Devils, and we're absolutely dominating right now. Yeah, we lost game 1, but we won 3 straight after that. We're about to make it 4 straight. Never mind, we're gonna lose that one, but that's perfectly fine. We'll close out here in game number 6, an overtime winner, 5-4. The Nashville Predators are Stanley Cup champions, and it only took 1 year. Okay, now Tyler Toffoli, you were great during the regular season. I can't complain with what you did there, but this is what you did in the postseason. 32 points, 13 goals, 19 assists in 23 games. I was not expecting this. Roman Josi, you were elite. Ryan O'Reilly, Matthias Michelli, Phil Forsberg, literally every single player on this team was absolutely elite. Kaliev, a couple people would have laughed at that deal, but that worked out for us in the long run. And UC Saros, what are the numbers looking like? 16 wins, 3 shots, a 911 and a 288. How did we just do this? That makes no sense. But you know what? A win is a win is a win is a win. Let's spin that wheel to figure out which team's next. So that Stanley Cup for Nashville is really turning things around here. We're 2 for 4 so far, so we're 50%. I'll definitely take 50%. Now this team should be incredibly easy. It's the Florida Panthers. 2 seasons at the max. Alright, so when it comes to winning a Stanley Cup, this Florida Panthers team really shouldn't be that hard. We're going to rebuild the bottom 6 a little bit and the third defensive pairing. Other than that, we're just going to rock with the team the way it is. We're a good team, no question about it. Matthew Tkachuk, Barkov, Sam Reinhart, Vladimir Tarasenko, Sam Bennett, Carter Verhaeghe. Yeah, we're straight. Now this deal right here is just an absolute no-brainer. Rodriguez and a 4th round pick over to the Anaheim Ducks. We're going to bring in Mason McTavish here, but he's not going to be involved in a 3-team trade. We're actually just going to be keeping him on the team. He's going to play some third line minutes for us. So there we go. We got this deal done after we had a 7th rounder. A 7th rounder is so valuable in this game. It makes no sense. But unfortunately, we don't have a 7th rounder. We got to use a 6th instead. So Josh Mahura, normally I would love to keep you on our team, but unfortunately you just have a terrible line fit, especially on the third pairing, and that's where we're playing you right now. So you and Luce Duran's going to be shipped over to the Toronto Maple Leafs, and we're picking up Connor Timmins. Now supposedly Connor Timmins can play on every single defensive pairing, so he's going to be incredibly useful for our team. Alright, so let's finish out the team here. Our 3rd rounder into prospects off to the St. Louis Blues. We're bringing in Oscar Sundqvist. He's going to play some 4th line minutes for the team. Now, Ty Karche, you were absolutely elite earlier in the video, so we're going to bring you onto this team now. Hopefully you can get a Stanley Cup with the Florida Panthers, but you weren't able to do it with the Seattle Kraken. And to finish all the trades off, a 5th round is off to the Islanders, and we're bringing in Holmstrom for this season. More than likely, we're going to be keeping him on the team long term. I'm not expecting him to want too much money. Here's 2 5th round picks instead of 1. For some reason, the Islanders are going to be cheering in the streets. He's got 2 5th rounders instead of 1. So after making the moves we did, plus 3 boosts on the first line, plus 2 on the second, plus 2 on the third, and then a plus 1 on the 4th line, the entire team's looking better. The defense is great here, and so is the goaltending. Bobrovsky, it's time for you to finally get a Stanley Cup. And what makes it even more difficult is we basically have to win this season. Sam Reinhart, what's it going to cost to bring you back? $8.7 million. Brandon Montour, how much is it going to cost to bring you back? Okay, we actually might be able to bring back you 2 guys. The rest of the team, I'm not too sure what we're going to do with. But let's start with Sam Reinhart here. We're going to do 7.9 for the next 7 years. And then Brandon Montour, I think we're going to do $5 million for the next 6. And that's basically all the money we have. We have a bit left over. But yeah, we locked down these 2 guys. All these players here, we might not be bringing back. So I think I've done enough talking. Let's simulate up to the trade deadline, see how the boys are doing. I'm fully expecting us to be first in the entire league. I can't see any team being ahead of us. Okay, so there's a few things that need to be explained to me. 1, how are the Columbus Blue Jackets first in the entire league? We're 4th here with a 37, 18, and 9 record. How is this team actually worse than the Nashville Predators at the trade deadline? Like, this is the Florida Panthers. We do know who's on this team. We do know the moves I made. Worse than what the Nashville Predators were. That makes no sense. I mean, the offense here is absolutely fantastic. If we are going to make one change here, it might be Vladimir Tarasenko. It just doesn't have a good fit on that second line. If we can find a replacement for him that's a bit better, that might be the move. But I mean, other than that, the team's absolutely spectacular. Bobrovsky, just keep on doing your thing. You're looking absolutely elite right now. Now, Jonathan Marchessault, yes, you might not be a sniper, but you know what? You can fit on the top 6. You're going to be a great player for us. Vladimir Tarasenko, a 2nd and 2 5th rounders, are going to be sent over to the Vegas Golden Knights. We got this deal done. Now we're about to win a Stanley Cup. Now, although the boys do look good right now, there's a lot of teams that look good. We're 6th in the entire league with a 46, 26, and 10 record. Look at all the 50-win teams here. If we want to win a Stanley Cup this season, it's definitely going to be tough. Florida, they got a great offense, but they have an even better defense. That defense might be what's saving us. Like, there's absolutely nothing wrong with the offense here. And Jonathan Marchessault, I'm very curious to see what you did since joining the team. You have a positive plus minus, and considering Vegas was one of the worst teams in the entire league, I'm expecting you did pretty good since joining the team. 20 points in 18 games. That was an incredible pickup. A shout out to the Bobber, 39 wins, 4 shouts, a 914 to 265. Who would have thought that this man would have made the great comeback considering these are his numbers the past couple years? He hasn't been that guy, but now he's back as one of the best goaltenders in the NHL, a 914 to 265. But the regular season means absolutely nothing once you get here. It's the playoffs and any team can win. So although the Boston Bruins were a 50-win team, the Florida Panthers are going to be competing so far. Game 5 is going to be the deciding one in this series. Who's taking the lead? Of course, it's going to be us. Sergei Bobrovsky with the shutout. Can I get another shutout in game number 6? It might not be a shutout, but we are off to the second round. Okay, all I have to say is I refuse to lose here. It's the Toronto Maple Leafs. I am not losing to the Toronto Maple Leafs in the second round of all places. That just doesn't happen. Now, I'm incredibly upset in the fact that Toronto has taken 2 games from the Florida Panthers. We're not losing to Toronto in the second round. We're winning game 5. Of course, Bobrovsky's leading the way, only allowing 1 goal, and he's going to lock in again in game 6, another 1-goal game. When this man's at the top of his game, nobody can stop us. And now we have the Columbus Blue Jackets. In the simulation, they're elite. In real life, they're hot garbage. So we have to remember it's basically the exact same team, so we can definitely beat them. So at this point, you have to wonder, did the Seattle Kraken just die for our sins? We're one game away from the Stanley Cup final. As long as we don't completely choke this, we were up 3-0 at one point. Off to game 7, that's great. All right, boys, we're not doing this. We were up 3-0 in the series. We're going to close this out, right? We're heading into the third period. We're down by 1 goal. Okay, we woke up. 4 straight goals from the boys. I really thought we were about to blow a 3-0 series lead, but nope, we're in the Stanley Cup final. We won in year number 1 with Nashville. We're about to do it again with Florida. Back-to-back Stanley Cups in 2 years. That makes no sense. So it all comes down to this one final matchup. The Florida Panthers taking on the Winnipeg Jets. The winner's hoisting a Stanley Cup. So here we go. The Florida Panthers and Winnipeg Jets. The winner is going to be hoisting their first Stanley Cup in franchise history. We might have taken the first 2 games, but Winnipeg's going to be responding. Sergei Bobrovsky, I need a historic performance from you in game number 5. I need you to steal us this game. You're not going to be doing that, but we're taking it 5-3. I can't complain about that. And in game 6, we're going to close this out. A Sergei Bobrovsky masterclass. The Florida Panthers are Stanley Cup champions. Back-to-back Stanley Cups with 2 different teams. No, like that really makes no sense. Barkov 26 points, Matthew Tkachuk 25. I mean, it really shouldn't be a surprise. This is an incredible team right here. And when it comes to the goaltending, of course, Sergei Bobrovsky, absolutely elite. 15 wins here. How did you only have 15 wins? Our backup goaltender didn't have any wins. You only had 15, but we won a Stanley Cup. You know what? I'm not going to question it. 3 shots, a 924 and a 239. But yeah, how'd you only have 15 wins? That literally makes no sense. Our backup didn't record any stats. I need somebody to explain to me what happened. So I think the simplest thing to do here is just not question what happened, and let's get ourselves another Stanley Cup here, and it looks like that one's going to be with the Winnipeg Jets. So Winnipeg, can you make it 3 straight teams by winning a Stanley Cup in year number 1? Mark Scheifele, Tyler Toffoli, Kyle Connor, Ehlers going to be the top guys here. Of course, we got Velarde, we got Sean Monahan as well. Like, this is actually a really good team on paper. We actually might be able to win in year number 1 with the trades I'm going to make. We got a great defensive core here, getting some great line chemistry boosts. You know what? I can't complain about this. And we also have Connor Hellebuyck. There's no doubt about it. He's our goaltender for all 3 years. Okay, so I did not realize how bad the salary cap situation for this team is. We are absolutely screwed. We have to choose between Tyler Toffoli, DeMello, Sean Monahan, Brendan Dillon, and Cole Perfetti. Only one of these guys can come back, and it's going to be Cole Perfetti. We're going to be doing $3.75 million for the next 6 years. Actually, make that 3.5 for the next 6. After giving out this deal, we have $2 million to work with. Unless we can sign one of these guys for $2 million, we're not going to be bringing them back. So this is what the trade's going to be. Nate Schmidt, you're off to the Arizona Coyotes. We're bringing in Val Mackey. We're doing 1-for-1 here. We just cleared up about $4 million, but that's not the only move we're doing. So this is going to be the next move we're doing. Adam Lowry's off to the Anaheim Ducks for a 3rd rounder in Hague. Basically just clearing up money here. And then our next trade is going to be Iafallo over to the Buffalo Sabres for a 4th round pick in Konecny. Not Travis Konecny, just Konecny. Yeah, I don't know what that guy's name is. We just want to ditch him to clear up the cap space. Alright, so this is the move we're going to be doing after clearing up all that cap space. We're bringing in Hoglander for the next 2 years and Dakota Joshua, and we're going to give him an extension. Basically, the moves we made right here, we just cleared up a lot of cap space, and we're going to be able to do something for the future. We're going to be able to re-sign a handful more players. However, it's going to be a bit more difficult than I thought. Heinola, we're actually going to have to give you up in this deal. I kind of wanted to keep you around, but you know what? If you have to be traded away, you have to be traded away. Now that we've cleared up that cap space, we're actually going to be able to bring a couple guys back here. The first is going to be Tyler Toffoli. You can have $7 million. And then Dylan DeMello, we're also going to be keeping you around here. I'll give you $4 million as well. So if they're making those trades, we're keeping a couple more guys around. Alright, so this is going to be the final move before we get into next season. David Kampf and Gregor I'm going to be acquiring from the Toronto Maple Leafs. We need guys that have better fits on our 3rd line. Nino Niederreiter, you just don't have that. You actually have a terrible line fit on our 3rd line. So it doesn't make sense for us to keep you on the team. We're making this deal and now the team's ready to compete. So this is the team that we're going to be rolling with. Mark Scheifele, Tyler Toffoli, Kyle Connor on the top line with a +5 boost. Cole Perfetti, Velarde, and Nikola Ehlers on the second getting a +1. And then our bottom 6 is full of 80 overalls, getting a +2 boost on both lines. When it comes to the defense, that's looking absolutely incredible. +1 boost on the first pairing, +2 on the second, +2 on the 3, and to cap it all off, we already know who the goaltender is. We've been through this a million times. Connor Hellebuyck, it's time for you to finally get a Stanley Cup and lead Winnipeg to greatness. Now I was certainly hoping the boys would be looking better than this. 11th in the entire league with a 34, 23, and 5 record. The offense is really good, but we do need to fix that defense a little bit. It hasn't been that great. But surprisingly, it's not actually the defenseman holding us back. It's our second line. The top guys are great. Mark Scheifele, Kyle Connor, Tyler Toffoli, absolutely incredible numbers so far. However, Ehlers, Velarde, and then Cole Perfetti, you guys have not been good this season. Perfetti has 29 points on the second line. I need a lot more from you, so that means we have to trade one of you guys. We got to upgrade this team, and I think one of these guys is going to come at the cost of that. Meanwhile, Connor Hellebuyck, I do need better than this. I can't have an 899 to 316. That's just not possible here. So here's what the plan's going to be. We need a playmaker on our second line. Unfortunately, Ehlers, you're not that guy for us. So Ehlers in the first round is going to be sent over to the Detroit Red Wings, and we're bringing in Lucas Raymond. We got to make sure we can give this guy an extension, but he's going to be a great piece to our second line. Him, Cole Perfetti, and Velarde, they're going to be able to turn the season around. So I'm going to send this package over to Detroit. Unfortunately, they are saying no here. I don't really know what it's going to cost. I don't want to include the second round pick, but if we have to, I guess we will. So a first, a second, and Ehlers for Lucas Raymond. This should be more than enough, but somehow it isn't. Okay, that's actually ridiculous. Here's a 5th rounder and a 6th rounder. Basically, all of this is sent over for one player. Give me Lucas Raymond. This is absurd that you're not accepting this. But you know what? We're going to find a way to get this done. So this is what we're going to do, because I have no clue why San Jose wants Ehlers, but we're going to get a 2nd and 3rd rounder from the San Jose Sharks in exchange for Ehlers. Now we're going to flip those picks. So this is the package that we're going to send over to Detroit. It's going to be 2 2nd rounders and a 1st for Lucas Raymond. We just got this deal done, and that's going to help us win a Stanley Cup this season. But if not this season, we'll definitely be taking it home next year. Now, the acquisition of Lucas Raymond isn't really helping the salary cap situation, but he is making the team better. Here's $7 million for the next 6. Now, Winnipeg was actually really solid to finish out the season. We're 9th with a 46-30-6 record, but the league was very competitive this season. The difference between 9th and 3rd in the entire league is only 6 points. So yeah, anyone can compete with anyone right now. So plain and simple, Kyle Connor was him this season. 101 points, 47 goals, 54 helpers. Mark Scheifele, 99 points. Tyler Toffoli, 84. And Lucas Raymond, what'd you do since joining the team? I'm expecting big things. Oh boy. Yeah, that did not work out for us. But you know what? If you guys suck during the regular season, that's perfectly fine. As long as you don't suck here. We got the playoffs, and now we have the Nashville Predators taking on the Winnipeg Jets. Yeah, so season number 1 is going to be a wash here. We're out against the Nashville Predators. We're not making a 3-0 series comeback. Or I should say a 3-1 series comeback, because we did take game 3. But maybe we are. We won game 5, and we just won game 6. So yeah, maybe it will happen. At this point, I feel like we're going to live or die by our first line, because it's just been that good. Brendan Dillon's picked up 2 goals in this game, and we might beat Nashville. Brendan Dillon picked up 2 goals, and those are the winners. Okay then, we made a 3-1 series comeback. We're off to the second round. Now maybe Winnipeg's figured it out here. We made a 3-1 series comeback against the Nashville Predators, but now this is when the matchups get real. We got the Colorado Avalanche. If we can beat Colorado, then I'm going to have faith in this team. Okay, for a second, I really thought we were going to sweep the Colorado Avalanche. A 5-2 win and a 7-1 win. Unfortunately, we're dropping the next 2, but you know what? Winnipeg's competing with the best right now, and this team looks good. Okay, now we no longer look good. We've got smoked in the last 3 games. We got to respond in game number 6 here, but it doesn't look like that's going to be happening. We're falling in the second round. Now, the one thing I will say, our second line actually looked not too bad here. Like Lucas Raymond had 12 points in 13 games. Cole Perfetti had 8, and he's going to be better next season. But Velarde, 4 points in 13 games. I need you to be better than that, plain and simple. You were not good during the regular season. You weren't good during the playoffs here. You got to be better next season. There's no doubt about it. So to cap off the playoffs, we're going to see the Rangers taking down the Colorado Avalanche at 5 games. Winnipeg made a statement this season. They showed that they can compete with the best in the league, making it to the second round after being down 3-1 against the Nashville Predators. But clearly some things need to change with this team, especially with the second line. Alright, so we got a couple draft picks to work with here. A 3rd rounder and a 7th is going to be sent over to the Chicago Blackhawks. We're going to be getting a future 3rd rounder. And then with these 2 picks right here, I don't really care what we get. I'll take Arizona's 3rd rounder. Now we actually have more money than I was expecting us to have. So Dakota Joshua, we're going to be able to bring you back here. We're doing $2.2 million for the next 2 years. Sean Monahan, I highly doubt we're going to be able to bring you back here. I don't really want to do almost $4 million for a 4th line guy, so we're going to be passing on you. Brendan Dillon, what are you looking for? Yeah, that's just not happening. Gregor, you're an important piece to the bottom 6 here, so $1 million for the next 2. I'll definitely do that. Val Mackey, I would love to bring you back as well. Where are you going to be looking for? We can do 1.9 for the next 2. And more than likely, these are the only extensions we're going to be giving out here. Yeah, we're just going to rock with what we have. We have $7 million to work with. We'll be able to bring in some new players. Alright, so here's what I'm thinking. Kuzmenko, you had a really bad season last year, and you actually didn't really progress as much as I was thinking. You're up to an 83 overall. You might have been an 83 overall last season. I think you were even an 84. I don't know, but for some reason, you're not turning into the player I thought you would. Kuzmenko, you're an 86 overall. You got an X factor. You fit on the second line. We need some scoring, and that's why we're bringing you to the team. Now, after acquiring Kuzmenko, we do have to give it some extensions, so let's just make sure we can afford everyone. Pyong, you're going to want 6.2. I want to make sure you're staying on the team. Velarde, I haven't really decided on you yet. We're going to hold off on your extension. Hoglander, of course, you have to stick on this team. 2.2 million. We can definitely do a deal like that. Mason Appleton, you're another guy I want to keep on the team. We can do 2.2 with you as well. So we are going to make one signing of free agency, and that's going to be with Sean Walker. We're going to do 3.2 for the next 2 years. Now that actually won't be the only deal we're going to do, because I'll give Hawk and Paul 1.8 for the next 3. So we're not quite done with the moves yet, because the prospect in the 7th round is going to be sent over to the Ottawa Senators. We're picking up Ridley Gregg here. We just need a bit more help on our bottom 6, and that's what he's going to provide to the team. So it looks like that pickup of Kuzmenko is actually working out really well for us, because he has a great line fit here. So it's going to be Kuzmenko, Velarde, and Lucas Raymond. And more than likely for next season, what I think we're going to do here is we're going to move Ridley Gregg up to the 2nd line. But for now, he's going to stick on the 3rd line because he has a good line fit there. The core is looking really good. I feel like we solved a lot of the problems we had last season. I'm expecting a big bounce back season from Lucas Raymond, because yeah, that man did not look good last season whatsoever. The defense is spectacular, and the goaltending, we already know who we got. It's Connor Hellebuyck, and we're going to be rocking Phoenix Copley as our backup. So now that we know Ridley Gregg's coming back next season, let's give him an extension, 1.8 for next year. That's an absolute steal. Alright, so I'm basically going to say this right now. We have 2 seasons to win a Stanley Cup with this exact team right here. We are going to run back the exact same team for the rest of this season and the rest of next season. We're not making any trades. We have a 43-17-1 record. We are absolutely elite. Our offense is incredible, but look at that defense. Below 2.5 goals per game. We should have no issue winning. Like seriously, we have one of the best offenses in the entire league and one of the best defenses. Kyle Connor, Mark Scheifele, Lucas Raymond, Tyler Toffoli, Kuzmenko, Josh Morrissey, Pionk, Velarde. Velarde's even having a good season. I was contemplating getting rid of that man. Never mind, we're keeping him around. And Connor Hellebuyck, absolutely spectacular. 33 wins, 5 shots, a 925 and a 227. Win in the postseason, and we're fine. We're not making any trades. I don't want to screw this team up in the slightest. We look perfect. Let's just rock with what we have. So the team's great this season. That means it's going to be good next season. Kuzmenko, I'm giving you 5.6 for next season. Well, it's actually 5.6 for the next 4, but that contract's only going to matter for next season. Velarde, we're going to keep you around as well. He's just 4.5 for the next 5. And to cap it all off, Nemestikov, I'll do 900k for next season. That's 100k more than what you're asking for, but you know what? You've played great this season, so why not keep you around? So the Winnipeg Jets are a 57 win team, 57, 21, and 4 right now. The best offense in the entire league. Well, not the best, because I mean Toronto's is better, but you know what? Toronto doesn't count. We're the best offense in the league, and our defense is so good. 2.38. There's no reason we should not be hoisting a Stanley Cup at the end of the season. We can score a lot of goals, but more importantly, we play defense when it matters most. Kyle Connor 94, Scheifele 94, Lucas Raymond 80, Tyler Toffoli 71. The entire team's incredible here. Connor Hellebuyck's having one of the greatest seasons of all time. 46 wins, 6 shots, a 928 and a 215. There is no reason we shouldn't sweep the playoffs. With that being said, we're out in 5 games to the Calgary Flames. I'm calling it now. Okay, ain't no way my prediction's actually going to be right. If we lose in this game right here, we're eliminated. We're going to be winning that one. We were down 3-1 in the series. We got to fight back. Okay, we have next season to win a Stanley Cup. 57 win team, by the way. Out in the first round because we didn't play defense. We allowed 7 goals in game number 2 after having the best defense in the entire league by far. I don't want to know what the scoring was for our team. I don't want to know the goaltending numbers. I don't even care who wins the Stanley Cup. This entire team's brought back for next season. We're making 0 changes. We were a 57 win team. I believe in the core. Alright, so a trade like this doesn't really matter because we're not going to be trading this 2nd round pick. But you know what? We're getting it anyways. We're trading the 2 draft picks we had. We're rocking the exact same team. Nothing's changing. We were a 57 win team. We should be able to win when it matters most. Now, I guess we technically do have to make one move because we do need a backup goaltender. Kevin Lankinen, you can come to the team. Here's 1.85 for next season. That's the only move we're doing, though. Everything else is going to be the exact same. So it's our last chance to win a Stanley Cup here. Scheifele, Toffoli, Kyle Connor. I don't need to mention who's on this team. It's the exact same team as last season. We're going to be rocking the exact same players. This team is good. We all know it. The goaltending's fantastic. Connor Hellebuyck's up to a 94 overall. We have a 94 overall goaltender. We were a 57 win team last season. We're not stopping at the trade deadline. I am simming right to the end of the season. We know we're going to be one of the best in the entire league. When the playoffs come around, we have to perform. Now, although the Jets weren't as good this season, we're still the best in the entire league, a 51, 27, and 4 record. The offense is still great, while the defense is definitely taking a step back, but I think that's due to the fact that the league was scoring a lot more goals this season. Like, we still have one of the best defenses in the entire league, and our offense, it looks like it's going to be led by Mark Scheifele. He's picking up 98 points, Kyle Connor 95, Toffoli 80, Lucas Raymond 78. Why were you -7? Why did the second line all of a sudden have a negative plus minus? Who knows what's going on here? We're being screwed, but it doesn't matter. When push comes to shove, this man's going to step up in the postseason. Connor Hellebuyck, 40 wins, 3 shots, a 912 and a 287. Yeah, the numbers aren't as good as last season, but you know what? We have a chip on our shoulder after what happened last season. We're going to be ready to roll. And we better be ready to roll right now because our first round matchup is going to be a tough one. We got the Dallas Stars. We already know this is a great team, so we better be prepared for a tough matchup. So although the boys are up 3-1 this series, the one concern I have is our defense has not been good so far. We allowed 5 goals in 2 games so far. Things aren't looking good. Oh boy, we're off to game 7. So here we go, game 7. The Winnipeg Jets taking on the Dallas Stars. We're exchanging goals in the first period. In the second, we're going to be taking the lead. We're picking up another 2 here. We should be able to lock this down, and yes, we are. We're advancing to the second round, a 3-1 win. So although we're moving on to the second round, I am concerned in this team because there really is no reason the Dallas Stars should have put up that big of a fight. But you know what? We got past them, so there's no need to worry about them anymore. Now we have to worry about the Colorado Avalanche. Similar to the series against the Dallas Stars, we're going to have a 3-1 lead in this series, but this time we're actually going to be closing it out a bit sooner. Well, ideally, we close it out sooner. I don't want to go to game 7 again. Can we close out in game 6? Of course we can't. We're going to choke a 3-1 series lead once again. So here we go. We're headed to game 7 once again. Last time we were in game 7, Winnipeg was able to win, but this time it might not be as easy. We're tied 2-2 entering the third period, and in the third period, it looks like we're going to be falling to the Colorado Avalanche. The Winnipeg Jets are going to be going Stanley Cup-less. Now, am I overly surprised we're falling to the Colorado Avalanche? Not really. We were incredibly lucky. Back-to-back seasons winning in year number 1. The streak wasn't going to continue. We're falling to Colorado in the second round. Winnipeg was just a massive disappointment, and honestly, when push came to shove, we just didn't step up, and that second line just wasn't good enough. I don't know how we had a negative plus-minus during the regular season, considering what the boys did last season, but you know what? We just weren't able to step up when it mattered most. And Connor Hellebuyck, you're the reason we lost. I'm putting all the blame on you. An 891 and a 367. What were you doing out there? Now, the Stanley Cup winning streak has come to an end, but it's time to start a new one, and it's got to start with the Buffalo Sabres. That's probably not going to be a 1-year rebuild. It's going to take us a couple, probably 2. So when it comes to the Buffalo Sabres, the one good thing about this team is a lot of the players here are young, so over the next 3 years, they're going to keep on getting better. However, we do only have 3 years to win a Stanley Cup, so we can't wait too long. We don't have too much time for these guys to develop. Guys like Jack Quinn, Dylan Cousins, and JJ Peterka, they better all be 85 overalls by the beginning of next season. With a guy like Zach Benson, though, we can't wait for him to develop. He's going to get traded away pretty quick here. He's going to have a lot of trade value, though, so we're going to be bringing in a superstar player. Defensively, the top 4 is not going to be touched whatsoever. The third pairing might get upgraded a little bit here. And when it comes to the goaltending, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, we don't have time for you to develop. You're being traded away as well. Okay, so I'm immediately going back on my word here. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, you got medium start potential. At 24 years old, you're an 84 overall, and we could probably re-sign you for fairly cheap. So I think we actually are going to keep you on this team, and you're going to be our goaltender for the 3-year run. 94 overall, Connor Hellebuyck wasn't able to win a Stanley Cup. Maybe 84 overall, Luukkonen can. So I'm crafting up a bit of a 3-team trade. It's going to be Jeff Skinner and a first-round pick over to the Anaheim Ducks. We're getting Trevor Zegras and 2 third-round picks. I'm not expecting we're going to be able to get the third-round picks, but as long as we can get Trevor Zegras, I'm going to be happy. So we are going to be getting 1 third-round pick. All we have to do is throw a 7th rounder in this deal, and just like that, we got Trevor Zegras and a 3rd rounder. Now it's time to flip Trevor Zegras. So here's the plan with Trevor Zegras. Him, Kulich, a 3rd, 4th, and 7th round pick is going to be sent over to the Carolina Hurricanes. We're getting Marty Necas. He's going to be a great first-line player for us, and we're also picking up Kuznetsov, who has 50% retained already. $3.77 million. That's going to be a great deal for him. And before we even get any further into making trades, we got to make sure Marty Necas is coming back. Here's 7.5 for the next 2. Now this trade's pretty ironic. Casey Milstead, you would be a great piece for the Buffalo Sabres, so we're going to pick you up from the Colorado Avalanche. If only you were on this team previously. So this next trade is going to be a bit of a massive one. Dylan Cousins, I'm going to be shipping you out here. You're a great young player. There's no question about that. However, you basically have 0 fit on our lines whatsoever. These line fits aren't good enough, especially if you're getting paid $7.1 million. So you, a prospect, and Connor Clifton's going to be sent over to the Columbus Blue Jackets. Boone Jenner, Voronkov, and Sean Corrali are all being brought to the team, as well as 2 third-round picks. We're not going to be getting both third-round picks here, but I do want to bring 1 to the team here. Okay, if we can't get any picks, I'm not against that. We're clearing up a ton of cap space here, and we're bringing in 3 players that we desperately need. So we have to continue to fill out the bottom 6 here, and a trade like this actually makes a lot of sense. We're going to be picking up Dawson Mercer. He's going to be a good sniper for us. And we're also getting a handful of picks here, 2 third-rounders and a 2nd. Matthew Savoy, he's got a lot of potential, but you know what? For right now, we got to make a move like this. So the trades are just going to keep on happening here. The 3rd rounder we got from the New Jersey Devils, as well as the prospects being sent over to the Seattle Kraken. We're picking up Tovanen and a couple draft picks here. We're not going to get the 6th rounder, but we are going to be able to get the 4th rounder, so I'll take that as a win. So we're just about done making moves here. One of the last ones we have to do is pick up Rasmus Sedin from the Washington Capitals. We're giving up more than we have to in this deal, but you know what? If we're bringing Sedin to the team, we're able to win a Stanley Cup in year number 1. Who's going to complain? So after making all those trades, this is what the team's looking like. Tage Thompson, Marty Necas, Jack Quinn on the first line, Tolvanen, Casey Milstead, Alex Tuck on the second, +3, +3, +3, +2. Yeah, this team's going to be really good. The defense is going to be spectacular. Rasmus Dahlin, Owen Power, Bo Byram, Rasmus Sedin, Samuelson, Henry Jokiharju. If you know, an absolute legend. And the goaltending, we got Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen here. He can be the guy for us. There's no question about it. I'm saying that like I wasn't questioning them at the beginning of this rebuild. Before we get ahead of ourselves here, we do have to go out some extensions, and we're starting with Casey Milstat, 5.3 for the next 2. We already gave Murray Natchez a bag. Hopefully we're going to have enough money to bring back all these guys. Tovan, I'm going to be giving you 4.4 for the next 2, and then when it comes to a guy like Dawson Mercer, we might just have to ride out his contract. I'm not sure if we're going to have enough money for him. We're going to hold off on a Dawson Mercer extension, because we do have to be careful, because Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, he still needs an extension. Alright, so what are the boys doing this season? We are not looking that good. We're currently sitting in a wild card spot, 14th in the entire league with a 32, 26, and 6 record. I can guarantee our issue is defense. We're not good defensively. We score a lot of goals, but our goaltending and defense definitely needs to be better. That's what's holding us back right now. The offense is absolutely flying. Tage Thompson, he's leading the way. He's got 70 points here. Murray Natchez, 62. Rasmus Dahlin, 56. Alex Tuck, 52. Yeah, we're just not good defensively. That's our problem. Actually, what is our issue? Looking at the plus minuses, we really only have one bad line and one bad defensive pairing. Outside of that, we're perfectly fine. Oh, this is why. Okay, I know how to fix this. Okay, so this deal might make absolutely zero sense, but you got to hear me out here. Can we get Adam Fantilli from the Columbus Blue Jackets? This package, of course, is not going to be enough, but we have to somehow find a way to get a deal like this done. So what if I just do Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen and a first-round pick for Adam Fantilli? Is that going to be enough? They're still saying no here. What else do you want? Here's a third-round pick from the Winnipeg Jets. I don't want to give up too much more. Okay, we're getting Adam Fantilli here, and then Fantilli, you're about to be flipped to the Boston Bruins. Here's a 7th-rounder. We're getting this deal done. Now it's time to flip him over to Boston. So can we just do Adam Fantilli straight up for Jeremy Swayman? Can we do a deal like this? They're saying no, but a 6th-round pick will make the difference, because I know for a fact we have no 7ths left. I don't believe we have any. Never mind. We have a couple 7th-rounders. This one from the Nashville Predators is going to be getting us Jeremy Swayman. Now, this was the lone thing I was scared about when getting Jeremy Swayman. We have $2 million to work with. He wants 8.6. So yeah, we're going to have to juggle the cap a little bit. Unless we somehow win this season, but I just highly doubt that's going to happen. Yeah, so just give me a second to scroll down here, because yeah, the Buffalo Sabres were not a good team. We were really bad. 16th in the entire league, a 41, 33, and 8 record. We are incredibly lucky to make the playoffs here. The offense is great. There's no question about that. The defense just still isn't that good. Tage Thompson, your numbers look great here, 88 points. Murray Natchez, 81. Like, the scoring numbers I don't have an issue with. It's the goaltending and defense I have a problem with. But Jeremy Swayman, what'd you do since joining the team? A 909, a 266. I can actually live with that. We could win a Stanley Cup potentially with those numbers. So maybe Jeremy Swayman's going to make the difference come playoff time, but we have a tough matchup in the first round, the Detroit Red Wings. So considering we were 16th in the entire league, I'll definitely take being tied 2-2 heading into game 5. And you know what? We're actually going to keep on showing up here. Are we really going to upset the Detroit Red Wings in the first round? Yes, we are. We moved on to the second. So the boys showed that they can compete with the best in the league, taking down the number 1 seed Detroit Red Wings in the first round. But we have another tough matchup ahead of us, the Florida Panthers. We're all well aware of who's on that Florida team. If we want to be the best, we have to continue to beat the best. Okay, so Florida didn't score in the first 2 games. We got outscored 10-0. They've responded in the last 2, but they've been overtime wins. As long as we can win in regulation, we're going to keep on looking good here. However, we're going to be dropping game 5. We're facing elimination here in game 6. The boys better show up when it matters most. And unfortunately, that's not going to be happening. We're dropping that one 2-1. Now things are about to get interesting. How are we going to bring back Jeremy Swayman? So I think the one thing we learned from this postseason run is this team actually can perform when it matters most. However, Jack Quinn, you were not that guy. -5, Tage Thompson, Murray Natchez. The number 1 line is what really held us back here. Plain and simple, the top guys didn't perform here. Jeremy Swayman, you certainly did though, and we're going to keep you on this team. Okay, Devin Levi, what's this? I understand you only played in 14 minutes, but a 777 and an 827? Like, come on, my guy. You faced 9 shots and you allowed 2 goals. So once again, in year number 1, we're going to see the Rangers taking home the Stanley Cup, but this time they're going to be taking down the Colorado Avalanche in a 7-game series. Now, the one thing that's going to be helping us a lot here is the salary cap is going to be increasing. So ideally, we can keep Jeremy Swayman without having to give up anyone. So with the salary cap increasing and Jeremy Swayman being a W man's here, we're going to be able to lock him down long term. We're doing 6.6 for the next 7. So let's make a couple trades here, because as we know, there's no point in drafting prospects. They're not going to develop in time. We're getting a future 2nd rounder, and with this next trade, we're probably going to get a future 3rd rounder. That's what we're going to be acquiring from the Dallas Stars. So when it comes to the re-signed phase, all we're going to do is qualify 1 RFA and give Bryson a 2-year deal at $1.1 million. Besides that, everyone here is going to be walking. We're not going to be able to afford anyone. It's just the situation that we're in. It's going to be tough to bring in guys for the bottom 6, but you know what? Every team runs into this position. So now things are going to get difficult because we have to give out extensions. Of course, I want to bring a guy like Bo Byram back, and we're going to be doing $6 million for the next 4 years. That gives us $5 million to work with. Jack Quinn needs an extension, Kuznetsov needs one, JJ Peterka needs one, Dawson Mercer we haven't even signed for this season, Voronkov needs one. Yeah, we're in a tough position. Now, the first thing we got to do is trade Jordan Greenway. We need to free up that $3 million. And then with that $3 million, we're able to bring back Dawson Mercer on a 1-year deal at $2.6 million. So Zach Benson, you're an 86 overall after I sent you back to juniors. The only problem I have with you don't have a good line fit on this team. William Eklund, on the other hand, you might have a good line fit on this team. You're an 86 overall with an X factor. You guys are basically the exact same players. Like, the attributes are basically the exact same. I'm not going to worry too much. We're going 1-for-1 here. I guess I have to include a 7th rounder. But yeah, if William Eklund has a better fit on this team, then it's going to be worth making the move. So there we go, William Eklund. Welcome to the Buffalo Sabres. Okay, so the William Eklund line fit's actually working out way better for this team than I thought it would, because now we're going to be able to trade Casey Milstead away because we have a new second line playmaker. We're going to be freeing up a lot of cap space in this deal. It actually makes sense for the future of this team. The plan was for Casey Milstead to be here, but you know what? We got a much cheaper replacement, and now we're going to be able to afford some of these guys that are on expiring deals. So Jack Quinn, we now have enough money for you. Here's 4.1 for the next 4 years. JJ Peterka, we got some money for you. Here's 2.2 for the next 3. And then Voronkov, we're going to do 2.2 for the next 2. So here's how the team's looking. Tage Thompson, Jack Quinn, Marty Necas on the first line, a +3 boost. Alex Tuch, William Eklund, and Tovanen on the second. They got a great boost here, +3. Basically, it's the same story as last season. A +3 boost on the first, second, and third line, and then a +2 on the fourth line. The defense is actually going to be better here. Rasmus Dahlin and Owen Power a +5, while Bo Byram and Rasmus Sedin are getting a +2. And to cap it all off, we're going to have Jeremy Swayman the entire year. 83 overall, Devin Levi is going to be backing him up. This team should be able to be top 5 in the entire league. Then again, I thought we'd be top 5 last season, and look how things went. Alright, so I'm happy to say that things actually look good this season. First in the entire league, a 39-14-9 record. The offense is flying, almost 4 goals per game. However, the defense still needs to be better. With that being said, though, I think we could make a trade here because we do have a bit of cap space. Tage Thompson, 79 points. Marty Necas, 71. Tovanen's got 67. What a great pickup that was. Alex Tuch, 62. The boys are rolling. Plain and simple. We have no weaknesses on this team. Maybe the defense is a bit weak. Jeremy Swayman, 28 wins, 0 shots, a 902 and a goals against a 3. But at the end of the day, it's Jeremy Swayman. He'll step up in the playoffs. So we're going to make one trade here, and that's just going to be acquiring Ethan Bear from the Washington Capitals. He's going to help our right side. He's going to be replacing Bryson on that third pairing. It's going to end up being like a 5 overall jump. After acquiring Ethan Bear, the Buffalo Sabres are the hottest team in the NHL. First with a 54-19-9 record. The offense is incredible. I've mentioned this a handful of times with almost 4 goals per game, while the defense, that got better after bringing Bear onto the team, just a little over 3 goals per game. We don't have to go through the offense, but of course I want to. Tage Thompson, 102. Marty Necas, 97. Tovanen, 80 points. Rasmus Dahlin, 80. Jack Quinn, 79. Yeah, the boys are just hot right now. Jeremy Swayman, 42 wins, 1 shot, a 905 and a 289. Since we acquired Ethan Bear, this team's been absolutely unstoppable, and we're looking to continue that into the postseason here. And we got a tough first round matchup, though. The Boston Bruins, Jeremy Swayman versus Allmark. It's must-see hockey. So it looks like the Boston Bruins have absolutely no answer for us. We're taking them down in a quick sweep. The Allmark, it looks like he couldn't even compare to Jeremy Swayman. So the Boston Bruins were a great warm-up for the boys, but now we got ourselves another tough matchup. It's the Florida Panthers. We already know what the Florida Panthers can do, but we also know what the Buffalo Sabres are capable of, so it's going to be a great series. So I guess Florida will be competing a bit more than the Boston Bruins did because they've been able to steal 1 game away, but we're still going to make this a 5-game series, and we're 8-1 moving into the conference finals. So we're 8-1 heading into the conference finals. So far, no team's been able to compete with us. Carolina, are you going to be able to compete? Because you're our next matchup. So we've been going back and forth with the Carolina Hurricanes. It's been a tight series up until Game 5. They're going to be taking the lead here, but I know for a fact that the Buffalo Sabres are going to be bouncing back. That's what we're known for. We're forcing Game 7 with a big 5-2 win. So here we are, Game 7. Winners off to the Stanley Cup final. We got to make a statement early in this game, but it looks like Carolina's making one as well. Okay, we took 19 shots. The offense is rolling. We're looking to pick up some goals here. We're going to keep on picking up goals, but so is Carolina. We have a close game entering the third period, and in the third period when it mattered most, we're going to keep on scoring goals. Another 3, and we're taking this one 8-5. Well, look who we're matching up against in the Stanley Cup final, the St. Louis Blues. I think we're screwed here. I don't see any universe in which we beat the St. Louis Blues. They have Robert Thomas, and we just don't have an answer for that. So we have the Buffalo Sabres taking on the St. Louis Blues. Robert Thomas versus Tage Thompson. 2 great players going head-to-head here. The series is tied 2 games apiece, so Game 5 is going to be a big one. Who's going to be 1 game away from hoisting a Stanley Cup? It looks like it's going to be the Buffalo Sabres. Can we close this out in game number 6? Yes, we can with an overtime goal. The Buffalo Sabres are Stanley Cup champions. We've got ourselves another Stanley Cup. Who's going to be winning one next? Before we figure out who's winning the next Stanley Cup, we got to look at the numbers here. Alex Tuch, 23 points. Eklund's picking up 22, Tolvanen 21. What a great pickup these two guys were. William Eklund, a great player for us. He played some big time minutes. And Tolvanen, I'm going to be honest, I didn't expect you to turn into this good of a player, but you know what? You lived up to the hype, and that's good for us. Jeremy Swayman, 16 wins, 1 shot, a 917 to 266. You were the goaltender for us. I thought it could have been Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, but you know what? Sometimes things change. Jeremy Swayman, Stanley Cup champion with the Buffalo Sabres. So we're down to our final 4 teams here. Who's going to be hoisting a Stanley Cup next? Well, it looks like that's going to be the Columbus Blue Jackets because we're rebuilding them next. So we're moving on to the Columbus Blue Jackets, and honestly, this is a very interesting team because they do have a handful of young guys that are going to develop quickly. Kent Johnson, by year number 3, is probably going to be an 87 overall. Adam Fantilli will probably be an 85 overall by the beginning of next season. Boone Jenner, Voronkov, and Sean Kuraly were just on the Buffalo Sabres in that last rebuild, and they played some key roles, so we're going to keep them on this team as well. Defensively, the one thing that is going to hold this team back is just the defensive pairing chemistry. It's just not very good here, but you know what? We're going to improve it before the season starts. And the other thing that's not helping this team, the goaltending. We got to bring in a better goaltender than Elvis Merzlikins, plain and simple. So with that being said, let the trades begin. So this is going to be a high risk, high reward move. Johnny Hockey and Soulsville over to the Seattle Kraken. We're going to bring in Adam Larson and Andre Burakovsky. Adam Larson can play some big minutes for our defense, and Andre Burakovsky, he has a great fit on the second line, and we need some help on the second line. We also just have to free up a bit of money here. Johnny Hockey, you're not really worth $9.5 million and 86 overall, so we got to clear that up. Now, Marchenko's line fit with the team right now isn't good in the slightest, so we're going to ship him over to the Edmonton Oilers and pick up Ryan McLeod. He's going to play some big third line minutes for us. So now a trade like this, I'm just trying to get rid of Eric Branson's contract, and I feel like in order to get rid of his contract, I'm going to have to include a 6th round pick. Hey, this is a great deal. Anaheim's apparently going to be cheering in the streets. You took on Eric Branson's contract. I don't know what you're cheering about. All I had to give up was a 6th round pick. So one thing that has to be made clear is Severson's the biggest op of all time. Every single time I have this man on one of my teams in a rebuild, within 2 years he's dropped 4 overalls. There was one video I recorded. This man at 32 years old dropped to like a 78 overall. I don't know why he declined so quick, but he does. So we're trading him away and we're picking up Bukestad, JJ Moser, because I can't trust Severson. So we need a different goaltender. I just don't believe that Merzlikins can be the guy for us. An 83 overall, 5.4 million, but you know who could be the guy? Jordan Binnington, 86 overall. Binner's got to get another cup, and we're going to be bringing him to Columbus to do so. A 2nd round doesn't look like it's going to be enough, but I'll add a 3rd rounder into this deal. Jordan Binnington, welcome to the team. Now we got to make one big time splash before we head into next season, and Slafkovsky, you're going to be that splash. 84 overall, you can fit on the 3rd line. You're going to play some big 3rd line minutes for us. It's going to cost us a 1st round pick in Chinikov. Honestly, I think that's a great deal considering how difficult it's been able to find guys that can fit on our 3rd line. I have scoured the entire NHL, and I've only found like 3 guys that can fit on our 3rd line, and now we have all 3 of them. Now when it comes to the rebuild for the Columbus Blue Jackets, this is definitely going to take more than 1 year. This team right here is not winning a Stanley Cup. However, Adam Fantilli is going to get better. Kent Johnson is going to get better. Slafkovsky is going to get better. Ryan McLeod will probably get a bit better. Patrick Laine, he's going to keep on getting better. A lot of the players on this team are going to continue to improve, and that's including the defense. Zach Werenski's only 26. He can get a bit better. Provorov can get better. Jiricek's going to get better. And the goaltending, Binner is what he is, but he's a Stanley Cup caliber goaltender because he's done it once before. However, before we get into this season, we do have to get out some extensions. So we have just under $20 million to work with, and we'll start with the extensions with JJ Moser. Here's $4 million for the next 3. Jake Bean, ideally I want to do a cheaper contract than that with you, but I guess that's not going to happen. We might be letting you walk. Ken Johnson, of course, you're going to want a bit of a bag, but I mean, you're pretty deserving of it. You're going to turn to an elite player for us. Here's $6.5 million. Texier, you're going to play some great bomb 6 minutes, so here's 2.1 for the next 2. And then we're going to cap it off with Cole Sillinger. It's going to be $1 million for the next 2. Those are the loan extensions we're doing here. Now it's time to see what the Columbus Blue Jackets can do. Now, sometimes things just don't make sense in the slightest. First in our division, 2nd in the entire league. We are 2nd in the entire league with a 38-17-8 record. The Columbus Blue Jackets. It's not like our offense has been good, it's just our defense has been elite. 2.79. What's going on? What's really going on here? Patrick Laine is back in his prime, and he's looking elite right now. He's got 62 points so far. Kent Johnson, 55, and he's going to keep on getting better. Adam Fantilli's got 53. He's going to keep getting better. And Burakovsky, the GOAT, Andre Burakovsky, the 2nd greatest player of all time, only behind Robert Thomas. He's got 45 points here, 20 goals. He's looking absolutely elite. While Jordan Binnington, he's the savior here. 29 wins, 4 shots, a 918 to 273. Keep on doing your thing. Now, if we're being completely honest, I don't think we should make make any trades here. Do I really think that we can compete for a Stanley Cup this season, and should I just hold off and wait for next season? I think that's the play. We got to wait for some of the young guys to continue to develop. We don't want to rush the process here. Blake Coleman, though, that could be the move. I'm not even going to lie. So I think the safe move here is to actually make no trades. We're going to let the young guys continue to develop, and then next season we'll make a big push. So we took a slight step back after the trade deadline, but we're still top 5 in the entire league. 4th here with a 46, 24, and 12 record. The offense is what's really holding this team back because the defense is one of the best in the entire league. Like, where is our defense compared to all the other teams? We're tied for 4th. Yeah, we're pretty good. So if this team was just able to find the back of the net a bit more, then we'd be the best team in the entire league. No question about it. Patrick Laine is going to be leading the way here. 76 points. He's got 45 goals. Fantilli, a great rookie year from him. He's got 66. Kent Johnson, 64. You know what? I can't complain about these numbers. And Benner, just keep on doing your thing. And I can't wait to see playoff Benner. Because playoff Benner is a different animal. When that man's locked in, it takes a lot to stop him. And this is the perfect team to start a postseason run against, the Boston Bruins. Benner's had a lot of success against that team in the playoffs. Let's see if we can continue here. So the Columbus Blue Jackets have been going back and forth with the Boston Bruins. Now, granted, Boston's a great team. I don't care if we finish 4th in the entire league. Boston's always going to put up a great fight. We're going to be dropping game 5, so that means we got to respond in game 6 if we want to keep the hopes alive. That's exactly what we're doing. We're off to game 7. So we're off to game 7, and you already know who has to show up here. Andre Burakovsky, I need you to pick up a couple goals for us. You're one of the most important pieces to this team. We're entering the 3rd period. We're down 1 goal. It's time for Burakovsky to take over. He's potting a couple here. Never mind, we lost 4-1. Yeah, we're going to pretend that didn't happen. Burakovsky did lead the team in points, though. We had 6 points in 7 games. An absolute hero. It was probably 2 game-winning goals, if we're being honest. I mean, none of them were game winners, but you know what? We're moving on from this. The team didn't look good when push came to shove. -7, -7, -4, -3. Yeah, this didn't happen. We're just going to pretend that this series didn't happen. Benner, the numbers weren't great. The core is going to keep on getting better. A majority of the players here are fairly young. So yeah, we're going to be in a great spot for next season. I'm not too concerned. Turns out the Boston Bruins were better than I thought, and they just won the Stanley Cup, taking down the Vancouver Canucks. So we lost to a legit team. So the same usual things going to be happening at the draft here. We're trading picks away. Ideally, we can get a 2nd and 3rd rounder from the Vegas Golden Knights. Unfortunately, we can't get that 3rd rounder. Maybe we can get a 2nd and a 4th. I want to get the 2nd for sure. If we have to include a 7th rounder, I will, and that's exactly what we're going to do here. Vegas, you can have your 7th rounder back as long as you give us a 2nd and 4th rounder. Just like that, the deal's done. So I'm happy to see that Jake Beaton smartened up a little bit, and we can actually get him for less than $4 million. We're going to do a 3x3 with him. When it comes to the rest of the players here, all of them are going to be walking. They either have no trade value or aren't going to play on this team in the future, so there's no point in holding on to them. Now, thankfully, this team has a lot of cap space when it comes to extensions. We're going to start with Provorov, 6.3 for the next 4. We're moving on to Adam Larson. I'd love to keep him on the team for next season as well. Yeah, we're going to do a deal like this. It's going to be 4.2 for the next 3. Slafkovsky, of course, I want you coming back as well. 4.7 for the next 2. Bukestad, we might wait on a deal with you. Yeah, I think we're going to hold off on that one. Boquist, will probably end up trading you away. Voronkov, you're playing some big minutes for this team, and of course, we have to pay you accordingly, a 2x2. We got to let the moves continue here. Ryan McLeod, I'll keep you on this team. 1.7 million for the next 2. And then Sean Corrali, we're going to finish it off with you. We'll do $2 million for the next 2. So basically, the entire team's locked down for the next 2 years. We have $13 million in cap space for this season, so we can make one big signing. And this is who our big signing is going to be. It's going to be Chandler Stevenson. We're giving him $6.1 million for next season. And what if I told you Chandler Stevenson wasn't our only big signing here? Adam Henrique, 6.2. Somehow you're an 86 overall. I don't know what happened, but yeah, I'll bring an 86 overall to the team. So on top of making a couple of moves and all the guys getting better over the offseason, the team's looking elite. Fantilli, Patrick Laine, and Kent Johnson on the first line getting a +5. Voronkov, Boone Jenner, and Andre Burakovsky getting a +2. Slafkovsky, Adam Henrique, and Chandler Stevenson. Somehow our 3rd line's actually better than our 2nd line, but you know what? That just shows the depth we have here. And the 4th line is looking incredible with a +2 boost. The defense, pretty similar to last season. I mean, it's actually identical. Adam Larson, unfortunately, did lose his X factor, but you know what? He's a great defensive defenseman, and I want him on this team. Benner, on the other hand, yeah, he's that guy. 87 overall. Jordan Binnington, he's got an X factor, and he is the X factor for this team. It's time for us to win another Stanley Cup with a different team. So I need to emphasize that this is the exact same team as last season, barring Adam Henrique and Chandler Stevenson. Other than these 2 players right here, it's the exact same team. I'm simming right to the end of the season. There's no point in us stopping at the trade deadline. Let's just say things didn't go our way. So what were the Columbus Blue Jackets up to? I mean, they finished 4th in the entire league last year. Obviously, they're going to be a great team once again. Well, it's just quicker for us to do this. We're 4th last in the entire league. We didn't score goals, and our defense was absolutely abysmal. I don't know what just happened to this team. We were elite last season. Ran it back with the exact same core. Absolutely everything was the same here. Yeah, we were just not good. Benner, I can't even put this on you. You didn't even play that bad. A 908 and a 292. I don't know what happened here. Edmonton's winning a Stanley Cup, but yeah, this was very disappointing. We have one more season with Columbus to win a Stanley Cup. I couldn't even tell you what happened. Ideally, we get the first overall pick and it's some superstar, but more than likely, we're running it back with the exact same team next season. We're getting the 5th overall pick. Like, we were very good in year number 1, so we should still be a good team. All right, so this is what we're doing. The 5th overall pick over to Montreal, and we're getting the guy they selected 1st overall because that's who I want. I don't care in the slightest what it costs for us to get this player, but we're going to get him. I'm trading this package over. Montreal thinks they're getting a steal. I mean, they probably are. I gave up quite a bit for a guy that's an 83 overall playmaker. And this is what we're going to do to finish off the season here. I'm going to trade a couple more picks away, and I guess we can get a future 3rd round pick from the Buffalo Sabres. So I will say right now, we do have $15 million to work with. Boquist, we actually might keep you on this team. I have no clue how you've improved in overall. Okay, this is a no-brainer. We're doing $900K for an 85 overall. Also, Boquist, have you even played the past 2 seasons? I'm pretty sure I've had you on the bench. Yeah, this man hasn't played in 2 years, but is an 85 overall now. That makes so much sense. Chandler Stevenson, I wouldn't mind keeping you on the team here, and if we can do sub $4 million, I'll definitely do that. So here's 3.9 for the next 3. Bukestad, I would also like to keep you on the team because you're a great 4th line player for us. We'll do 2.3 for the next 2. So Chandler Stevenson and Bukestad are just going to be L-mans here. So here you can have 4.3 million. I'll give you exactly what you want. And then Bukestad will give you exactly what you want as well. We are rocking the exact same team. We are going to win. There is no reason we should have been as bad as we were last season. I believe in the core and I believe in the team. Okay, this is beyond ridiculous. I actually have to give them more money than what they're asking for. Here's 4.5 for the next 3. And the Bukestad, what do you want? I have to give you more just because you're unhappy with how the team played last season. Here's 2.6. That better be enough in order to bring both of these guys to the team. Bukestad saying yes. Chandler Stevenson, I hate you so much. Just accept the deal. Come on, my guy. It's not that difficult. Here we go. 4.7 for the next 3. I don't want to give you $5 million. If I have to, I will. There we go. We got the deal done. All right. If we're going to win a Stanley Cup, we got to make some big splashes here. And that includes trading a lot of picks away. So it's going to be our 1st rounder, Adam Larson, and 2/3 over to the Florida Panthers for Aaron Ekblad. They're saying no to this deal, as they should be, because I mean, I'm not giving up quite enough. But here's another 2nd round pick. Trade value wise, we're giving up more than enough, but it doesn't fit the trade block, but we're still going to get it done. Now, we really can't make too many moves based on how much cap space we have, but we could make a deal like this, which is going to acquire Seth Jarvis. We're just a bit low here. What's going to take to get this done? We might have to do a 3-team trade. So could I trade 3 4th rounders away in order to get Chicago's 2nd? Okay, that might be enough to get this deal done. So with this move complete, Seth Jarvis, welcome to the team. So here we go, season number 3, the final chance for Columbus to win here. Adam Fantilli, Patrick Laine, Kent Johnson, Burakovsky, Boone Jenner, Seth Jarvis, Slafkovsky, Chandler Stevenson, Voronkov, Alex Texier, Tanev, Bukestad. This team should be good enough to make the playoffs. There's no reason we should be finishing bottom 10 in the entire league. And on top of that, no reason we should be bottom 5 in the entire league. Last season was a fluke. The boys are bouncing back. Benner, I believe in you. Yeah, we have a 70 overall as our backup. Don't worry about it. We're going to be fine. Now, the Columbus Blue Jackets were just mid the entire season, but to close out the year, we've been on a bit of a hot streak. We're 8-2 in our last 10, a 44-31-7 record. The offense hasn't been great, neither is the defense. Actually, the defense has been very good for this team. I don't know what I'm talking about. We've been one of the best defensive teams in the league. We just can't score goals. And honestly, that makes absolutely no sense to me. We have a very good team here. We have a lot of talent, but for some reason, we just can't seem to find the back of the net. Jordan Binnington, keep doing your thing. 35 wins, 5 shots, and 915 and 267. It's the playoffs though. This is when it matters the most. This team needs to score goals. It's fine if we're only allowing 2 goals per game, but we gotta be scoring 3 goals per game, and the team's definitely struggled to do that. So after dropping game 1, the offense hasn't been that great, but the defense has been absolutely spectacular. And I guess as long as the defense is good, we're gonna keep on winning, and we're taking this into 5-game series. So you know what? I'll definitely take a 5-game series against the Toronto Maple Leafs, but let's be fair, it's the Toronto Maple Leafs. Everyone can beat them in the first round. This next matchup's going to be a bit more of a challenge though. It's the Tampa Bay Lightning. Well, things are pretty good when you're up 3-1 in the series, but things aren't looking good when you're down 3-1. And we were actually down 3-0 at one point, but we've won back-to-back games here. Are we really going to make a 3-0 series comeback? It doesn't look like it. The Columbus Blue Jackets are going to go Stanley Cupless. They're falling in the second round to the Tampa Bay Lightning. But to be fair, I think this is just the Columbus Blue Jackets curse. We were 4th in the entire league in year number 1. The entire team continued to get better throughout the years. Like, this team right here is better than the team we started with, but for some reason when it comes to our record, we just weren't good. I don't know what it was. Year number 1, we were absolutely spectacular. Things went downhill after that. But you know what? There's no point worrying about what the Columbus Blue Jackets can't do, which is win Stanley Cups. We got to move on to another team. We got to get them there first. So we got 3 teams left here. The Vancouver Canucks should be a pretty easy one. Arizona, on the other hand, that's actually going to be pretty difficult. Now, although the Arizona Coyotes aren't really that good of a team, the one thing that's really going to be helping us is a lot of the players here are young. Clayton Keller, 25 years old. Matthias Michelli, he's only 22. Dylan Guenther, 20. Logan Cooley, 19. Barrett Hayton, 23. So all these guys are going to keep on getting better. When it comes to the defense, JJ Moser and Sean Durzi, they're going to be the top pairing. We're definitely going to have to work on the second and third pairing, though. Now, the goaltending is very questionable because Connor Ingram, I have seen your progression, and sometimes you get up to an 88 overall. So I think we're going to hold on to you, but that's going to be barring your progression. If you get to like an 87, 88, I have no issue with it, but if you stay around 85, we might need to upgrade. So when it comes to extensions, these guys are going to be getting them. Sean Durzi, JJ Moser, Barrett Hayton, and Val Mackey. Barrett Hayton's is pretty cheap. He's about $1 million. JJ Moser, 3.9. I believe Sean Durzi was 4.6, and Val Mackey was 2.3. The recording was paused, so I'm just trying to recall what I gave them. Now, Patrick Laine, unfortunately, you weren't able to win a Stanley Cup with the Columbus Blue Jackets, but you were an absolute beast in that simulation, so we're going to bring you to our team right here. It's going to be Matthias Michelli, a second and third round pick. We don't really need Matthias Michelli on that top line, seeing as we do have Clayton Keller. So one thing we're missing from the bottom 6 right now is a playmaker, and for some reason, Sam Steele is the only playmaker that fits on our bottom 6. I don't know why that's the case, but yeah, we're giving up a third round pick in order to get Sam Steele. Why he's the only playmaker that fits the bottom 6, I couldn't tell you. So the nicest thing about doing a rebuild for the Arizona Coyotes is they have 9 million draft picks, so 2 seconds, Connor Geekie, and another prospect's going to be sent over to the Calgary Flames, and we're going to get Rasmus Anderson here, and that's not even setting us back whatsoever. We still have our first round pick we can work with. Hopefully this third round pick's enough. I don't think it will be. It's probably gonna have to be a second rounder. Yeah, it looks like it will be. So here's Edmonton's second rounder for 2025, and that's gonna be enough for us to get Rasmus Anderson. So this is what we're gonna be rocking. It's gonna be Nick Schmaltz, Clayton Keller, Patrick Laine, Lawson Crouse, Logan Cooley, Dylan Guenther. This season's gonna be about development for the young guys, because a lot of these guys are gonna be key pieces for our team in year number 2 and year number 3. I don't think we're gonna be able to compete this season. Then again, I said that with the Columbus Blue Jackets last season, and look what happened. Anything's possible. The defensive core is pretty solid. Sean Durzi, Rasmus Anderson, JJ Moser, Val Mackey, and they're going to keep on getting better. And to cap it all off, Connor Ingram's going to be our starting goaltender, and he's going to get better. The entire core is getting better, and as long as they do, they will be able to compete. So I'm very impressed with the Arizona Coyotes right now. The team's looking way better than what I was expecting. 11th in the entire league with a 36-24-4 record. The offense is really good, and the defense is good. I mean, the offense isn't good. I don't know why I'm gassing that up. Just above 3 goals a game is not good. However, considering everyone on this team's getting better, we'll be in a good spot. I don't want Torrey Krug. I just don't. Taking a look at the scoring, it's easy to figure out what's holding us back. It's the second line. Dylan Guenther, 44 points, minus 12. Lone Cooley, 36 points, minus 9. And Lawson Crouse, he has 34 points, plus 0, minus 0, whatever you want to call it. He's got a 0. The goaltending numbers are pretty good from Connor Ingram, 27 wins here, 6 shots, a 911 and a 297. So as we know, we have a lot of draft picks on this team, and you know what? We might as well put them to good use. So I'm going to trade our first round pick. Now that's not going to have a ton of value. However, if we can get Kuzmenko at $2 million retained, then this is an incredible deal. We're going to be paying him $3.5 million for the next 2 years. He can be a good bottom 6 piece for us. Now, we are going to have to trade somebody else in this deal. It's probably going to be Josh Doan. Nothing against Josh Doan, but you know what? I don't think he's going to progress quick enough. Then again, he is an 80 overall right now. He probably will progress quick enough, but you know what? I want Kuzmenko, and this is the deal we're going to do here. Now, the goal wasn't to win a Stanley Cup this season. It was just to make sure that we're a somewhat competitive team, and that's what we were. 11th in the entire league with a 46-32-4 record. The offense was better, and the defense below 3 goals a game. I'll never complain about that. However, the one thing I will complain about is the fact that Clayton Keller wasn't over a point a game. He only had 80 points in 82 games. I need you to be a bit better than that. Nick Schmaltz, 66 points. Patrick Laine, 61. Kuzmenko, you're playing some third line minutes, so I'm not expecting too much, but I will take 12 points in 18 games. Meanwhile, Connor Ingram, a good enough season from you. I mean, 35 wins and 6 shouts is great, and a 909 is even great, but a 302 is not. I need that goals against to be better. Now, you won't have to be better next season if you just go on some crazy run here. It has to start off with the Winnipeg Jets, though. Alright, Connor Ingram, you need to be better next season. We're down 3-1 against the Winnipeg Jets, and we're not making this comeback out in the first round. So Carolina's going to end up winning the Stanley Cup here, taking down the Edmonton Oilers. But you know what? Edmonton's not going to be in the Stanley Cup final next season, and Carolina's not going to be winning it because the Arizona Coyotes are. They got to get one before they leave Arizona, and Stick on the Ice is going to be the guy to do it for them. Also, I'm not looking at any of the postseason numbers. Those are going to be abysmal. I really don't want to see them. Nick Schmaltz had 5 points in 5 games. I mean, he held up his end of the bargain. So we have a million draft picks to trade away here. We've already acquired 1 third-round pick from the Calgary Flames. Now we're getting one from the Boston Bruins. And to finish things off here, a 3rd and 2 fifth-round picks from the Anaheim Ducks for those draft picks right there. So we have a couple guys we got to give extensions to. Boyd, I can't really complain with what you did last season, so here's 1.5 for next season. Travis Dermott, we're going to be letting you walk here. Sam Steele, you're a decent enough player for our 3rd line, so I'll give you 2 years at $1.7 million. I feel like that's a fair deal for you. Soderstrom, you're a nice young player that keeps on getting better, so here's 1.25 for the next 2. And then Kesselring will also give you a deal here. We're going to do 1.8 for the next 2. Now we do have a couple guys that do need extensions. The first one's going to Dylan Guenther. This is going to be an easy deal to get done with him. We're going to do 5.2 million for the next 6. That's a pretty solid contract for an 85 overall who keeps getting better. Bukestad, you're a great bottom 6 piece for us, so I want to keep you around as well. We'll do 1.8 for next season. And then luckily we don't have to worry about Connor Ingram because he's already on a 3-year deal. Hopefully he improved over the offseason. I actually didn't see what his overall is. He's still an 85. Do we trade for a new goaltender? We'll have to figure that one out pretty quick here. So we have $11 million, which means we can make a couple of big free agent signings. The first one's going to be Brendan Dillon. We'll do 5.5 for 1 year. Now this isn't necessarily a big free agent signing, but I mean he's not going to hurt the team here. Warren Fogle, $3 million for next season. So one season development has done big things for the team. Logan Cooley's up to an 86 overall. Dylan Guenther an 87. Lawson Crouse an 85. Kuzmenko's an 85 here. The team's just looking fantastic in general. Clayton Keller an 90. Nick Schmaltz an 86. Patrick Laine an 86. There's no weaknesses on this team whatsoever. Rasmus Anderson's up to an 88 overall. The defense is looking spectacular. And that goaltending, Connor Ingram, you gotta be better than an 85. If we're not a top 5 team at the trade deadline, you're gonna be traded away, plain and simple. So Arizona's turned it around, and not only are they great this season, they're going to keep on getting better. 38, 24, and 2. The offense is better, 3.3 goals per game, while the defense is even better as well, 2.91. It looks like Connor Ingram's going to be sticking around. Of course, Clayton Keller's going to be the guy leading the way, 62 points here, but Patrick Laine, he's having a great season as well, 54 points, but 32 of his points are goals right now. Logan Cooley, great season as well, 52 points, but I'm really interested in Connor Ingram's numbers, and they're spectacular. 34 wins, 1 shot, a 918, a 270. We can definitely win with him. Now, the real question is, what trade do we make to make this team even better? I'm not too sure, but you know what, a guy like Alex Tuch could be the move. So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to create a massive package and send it over to the Buffalo Sabres. All of these assets right here for Alex Tuch, hand them over. This is a great deal. We're ready to win. Honestly, if you were to ask me what I just gave up for Alex Tuch, I would tell you a 1st rounder, a 2nd rounder, and a bunch of other picks. I could have gave up 4 2nd rounders, I couldn't tell you. So it turns out Alex Tuch actually has a perfect fit on the first line. So it's going to be Tuch, Patrick Laine, Clayton Keller, and then Dylan Guenther, Logan Cooley, Nick Schmaltz. Yeah, we're winning a Stanley Cup this season. You might as well hand it over early. So I have one lone question with the Arizona Coyotes. How did Alex Tuch, who had a perfect fit on the first line, cause you guys to completely fall off a cliff, 44, 34, and 4? What happened to this team? I have to know. Like seriously, Alex Tuch had a perfect fit on the first line. By acquiring him, this team just got better. I need to know what this man did since joining the team. He might have only had like 3 points. He had 15 points in 18 games. Why did we suck? That makes no sense. How did we get significantly worse? Connor Ingram, 40 wins, 1 shutout, a 914, a 287. I could not tell you what happened to this team. Like, we look pretty solid here. We have to go on some miracle run here, and it's starting off against the Winnipeg Jets once again. We got to get our revenge. So I'm happy to say the Arizona Coyotes are going to be bouncing back here. We have a 3-1 series lead, and unless we choke this away, we will be making the 2nd round. I don't want to talk about what just happened there. You know what? Things aren't looking good for the boys. We've fallen in back-to-back games here. We got to respond in Game 7 when it matters most. Here we go. Game 7. The Arizona Coyotes taking on the Winnipeg Jets. Game 7. We had a 3-1 series lead, and here we are, allowing the first 2 goals of the game, allowing the first 5 goals of the game, allowing the first 6 goals of the game. That is something. Okay. Yeah, we're basically bringing the exact same team back next season, so we just have to hope for a different result. Like, I mean, everyone's under contract here. Kuzmenko, I might as well give you an extension right now. What do you want? You want 6.2 million? How about we do 5.5? I feel like that's a fair enough deal for you. Brendan Dillon, I actually would like to bring you back as well. What can we do with you? If we can do 3.9, I think we can make something work. So here you go, 3.9 for the next 2. And then I think we'll finish this off with Warren Fogle. What are you looking for? Yeah, we can do 2.1 million for the next 3. So basically the exact same team's coming back next season. We just have to hope for a different result. I don't care what happens in the playoffs. We're simming right right through the draft here. We're getting ready for next season, and we're praying for a miracle. Okay, now I do care about the playoffs. Winnipeg won. Ain't no way. So this is all that's happening before we head into next season. We're going to sign a guy like Scott Wedgwood because we need a backup goaltender. Here's $1 million for the next 2 years. And then we're going to give up one big deal, and that's going to go to Trent Frederick. We're going to do 5.5 for next season. That's the only moves we're doing here. We need to win. So it's time for a miracle to happen here. The Arizona Coyotes need to win a Stanley Cup. And with this team right here, they should have no issue doing so. We're going to score goals. We're going to play defense. And we have the goaltender, Connor Ingram, an 86 overall. He's got one X factor. This team is built to win. This team is built to score goals. It's built to play defense. It's built to do absolutely everything except show up when it matters most, because that seems to be the thing we struggle with. So at this point, I don't actually know what it's going to take for Arizona to be successful. We are an elite team on paper, 13th in the entire league. We can score goals, but we can't play defense. We're trading for a defenseman. I don't care what the stats of this team look like. Who is the best defenseman available? Alex Pietrangelo. We're going to find a way to make it work. Oh, that is very easy. We have a medium league potential goaltender, 2 second-round picks. Yup, there we go. That deal's done. So here's the plan. It's going to be a first and 2 second-rounders over to the San Jose Sharks for William Eklund. Right now, they're saying no, but that's perfectly fine. I'm going to trade all of these picks right here. Basically, every valuable pick we have is being sent to the San Jose Sharks. They're saying no to this. I'll include second-rounders. I don't care what it takes. You know what? Who cares about second rounders? I will give you 2 first-round picks for William Eklund. They're saying no here. I'll give you a second rounder as well. 2 firsts and a second. I need William Eklund on this team because then we can flip him over to the Islanders and we'll be able to get Adam Pelech. Please say yes to this deal. I am giving you so much. It's beyond ridiculous. Here's a 3rd-round pick as well. 2 firsts, 2 seconds, and a 3rd for William Eklund. You are bugging. So we're moving on over to the St. Louis Blues. A 1st and 2 second-rounders for Porter Martone. I don't know why we started with a 1st and 2 second-rounders. At minimum, it has to be a 1st and another 1st. It has to be 2 first-round picks for Porter Martone. Thankfully, we actually finally got a deal done. So guys, I got some great news. The New York Islanders no longer want a young prospect like Porter Martone. Isn't that great? So now we have to change things up. So we're changing things up, and now we're acquiring Trevor Zegras from the Anaheim Ducks. Now we're going to flip him over to the Islanders. They better not have changed their trade block again. Now, please tell me that Trevor Zegras and 2 third-round picks is going to be enough for Adam Pelech. We finally got him. Time to win. Yeah, so I just give up with the Arizona Coyotes, 13th in the entire league. Nothing can explain what's going on here. Clayton Keller, 87 points. Patrick Laine, 79. Yeah, nothing to celebrate here. The goaltending, yeah, Connor Ingram, you're just not that guy. I believed in you. I thought you could be the guy for us. And here we are, mid. Just absolutely mid. We got the Dallas Stars. Let's see what happens. So this is a pretty fair match with the Dallas Stars. We had virtually the exact same record. We split the series so far. Game 5 is going to be a big one. We're actually winning that one, surprisingly, but we're definitely going to lose in Game 6. Wow, we actually made it out of the first round. Who would have thought? Now, I don't want to waste a bunch of time here. We're moving on to the second round. We got the Colorado Avalanche up next. Colorado is going to smoke us. I wouldn't be surprised if we got swept. We split the series with them so far. If we win Game 5, I'd be incredibly surprised. How is Arizona now performing? Somehow we've been terrible in the regular season, but we're showing up when it matters most. That makes a lot more sense. 8-0. So here we go. Arizona, Colorado, Game 7. Winners off to the conference finals. So far, things are looking good. Never mind. I take it back. We're out. We got smoked 6-3. Arizona, you're never going to see success. Good luck in Utah, because the Arizona Coyotes are not affiliated with Utah. It's going to be a completely different team, and under a new ownership, that team's going to start seeing success in the near future. I believe in it, because I fully believe the reason the Arizona Coyotes have been such a big dumpster fire is that ownership has just been absolutely abysmal. Now, the San Jose Sharks, this team is just abysmal. Alright, so we probably have the most difficult team to rebuild now. It's going to be the San Jose Sharks. William Eklund, Zardelin, and Barabanov. More than likely, you guys are going to be the 3 untouchable pieces, because I know what your development's like in this game. Zardelin can turn to an 87, Barabanov can turn to an 87, and William Eklund, he can turn to one of the best in the game. Everyone outside these 3 players aren't untouchable. The defense, everyone's getting traded. Maybe Cale Addison will stay, but more than likely he won't. And the goaltending, we need to bring in some pieces. So there's about 9 million trades we have to do here, but this is going to be the first one. A prospect along with the 7th rounders off to the New Jersey Devils. We're bringing in Holtz to play some bottom 6 minutes for us. Okay, so this is what my thought process is. This team basically has 0 assets, They have zero good young talent outside of Eklund. It's going to be incredibly hard for us to win a Stanley Cup. So here's the plan. We're going to pick up guys like Holtz, guys like Cole Perfetti that are going to continue to get better throughout the years. And we're going to hope by year number 3, we're able to win a Stanley Cup. Basically, the team we have in year number 1 is going to be the same team for year 2 and year 3. They're just going to keep on progressing and getting better. Because if I'm being honest, I don't think it's going to be possible for us to win a Stanley Cup, especially with the assets we have here. Like, we're almost out of draft picks and I barely trade anyway. In saying that, Cardwell, a 3rd, a 4th, and a 5th rounders off to the Winnipeg Jets, and we're looking to get Cole Perfetti here. Unfortunately, we do have to include a 7th rounder in this deal. We're almost out of draft picks. We have done absolutely nothing so far, and yet we're almost out of draft picks. So I think the simplest solution in a trade like this is just to give up a 2nd rounder. So it's going to be Cardwell in the 2nd over to the Winnipeg Jets, and we're getting Cole Perfetti. They're still saying no to a deal like this. Honestly, that's a bit ridiculous. Here's a 5th round from the Pittsburgh Penguins, and that better be enough. They're still saying no. This is beyond ridiculous. But you know what? I don't care how ridiculous it is. We need Cole Perfetti to play some big minutes on this team. We're finally getting a deal done. Okay, so we got to make big splashes here, and this is going to be the first one. Pittsburgh's 1st rounder, Logan Couture, Mario Ferraro, and a 2nd round pick over to the Anaheim Ducks. 2 incredibly young players are going to keep on getting better throughout the years. They're saying no, but we just need to include a 7th rounder. This deal is going to be huge for us. I think the only issue that we're going to be running into is the fact that we're not going to reach the salary cap floor. Like, this team is basically spending no money this season. That's probably going to hurt us. Alright, so I want to see if I could pull off the biggest deal of all time. A 2nd rounder, Vanacek, a 1st rounder, and 2 young prospects over to the Nashville Predators, Thomas Novak, Luke Evangelista, and UC Saros. We're giving up our 1st round pick for this season. It's incredibly valuable. This is the move we're making. This is a very, very, very dumb trade, but it had to be done. So one more massive deal before we head into next season. It's going to be a 1st rounder from the San Jose Sharks and Benning over to the Calgary Flames. We're looking to get Mackenzie Weegar here. Now, this 1st round pick is very valuable. I believe it's for next season. Yes, it is. We're going to be a bad team. There's no question about it. So that pick's going to have a bit of value. But if we can bring Mackenzie Weegar onto the team and we can be somewhat competitive, I don't think that pick's going to be as valuable as you think. I'm including a 4th rounder in this deal as well. I think we have to do 2 firsts. It's going to be our 1st round pick and Vegas's 1st round pick. All of this for Mackenzie Weegar. Are we getting finessed here? Absolutely. But you know what? It's San Jose. I mean, we really don't have a hope. We got to do something. So this is what the team's going to be looking like. Cole Perfetti, Zutterlund, William Eklund, Holtz, Mason McTavish, Barbanoff on the top 6, a +2 boost here, +2, +2, +1. Our forward core is looking pretty solid. I mean, we have a lot of potential here. A lot of the players are going to keep on getting better. Are we going to win this season? Absolutely not. This is going to be a bad team. The defense looks great. Mintyukov, he's an 83 overall. Mackenzie Weegar, an 88. Caleb Aston, 81. Knizhov's an 80. We have a lot of potential here. And then we have UC Saros in between the pipes. We actually might surprise some people. Before we surprise anyone though, we better lock these guys down long term. So Cole Perfetti, what are you looking for? Yeah, we can definitely do this. It's going to be 3.7 for the next 5. Kevin LeBanc will also lock you down 1.5 for the next 2. And that's really all we're doing here. I mean, Mike Hoffman's not coming back. Caleb Aston, we can't give an extension to yet. So yeah, I thought we were going to do a lot more extensions here. I guess not. Okay, I am the greatest GM of all time, 6th in the entire league. The San Jose Sharks, 6th in the entire league with a 35-21-6 record. Our offense isn't that great, neither is our defense, but somehow we're 6th in the entire league here. We're not making any changes to the team. Let's face it, everyone here is going to keep on getting better. There's no point trading away assets. Mason McTavish, 60 points, Novak, 49, Holtz has got 49, Barbanoff, 48. Cole Perfetti, we're not going to talk about the fact that you're -10, but somehow this team's been very successful this season. UC Saros, you have 30 wins, 3 shots, a 901, a 318. How is this even possible? Like, realistically, the San Jose Sharks should be a bottom team right here. But you know what? We're somehow in the playoff picture. Haven't figured out how that works, but you know what? We'll take it. We went 9-1 to finish out the season. A 47-26-9 record, 4th in the entire league. What is going on with the San Jose Sharks? We're going to be better next season. We might be a borderline 50-win team. Mason McTavish, 77 points. He had 40 goals. This man really just picked up 40 goals. Alexander Holtz, 68 points. Barbanoff, 64. Novak, 61. I can't even form words to explain what's going on here. This makes 0 sense whatsoever. We're taking on Calgary in the 1st round. I don't know. If we're going to be a good team, might as well just keep on performing. Okay, we're bringing home a Stanley Cup. We just swept the Calgary Flames. I don't care if they were a wildcard team. We are the San Jose Sharks. We should not be winning games. So I don't even know what the expectations for this team should be. We're in the 2nd round taking on the Vegas Golden Knights. Technically, we're favored in this matchup, but we're also the San Jose Sharks in the year 2024, so this should not be happening. Now, this is a bit more realistic if you ask me. We're down 3-1 against the Vegas Golden Knights. I don't see us sparking a comeback. We're out in 5 games. The San Jose Sharks showed a lot of promise this season. Every single player on this team is going to be coming back next season. Every player is going to be better. We're going to be a 50-win team. I don't care what the numbers look like here. You know what? Some guys played good, some guys didn't. UC Saros, you were fantastic. You had a 927 and a 233. Yeah, we're going to be hoisting a Stanley Cup next season, no question about it. Before we do anything though, I want to make sure we lock down a couple of these guys. Cale Bassett, here's 3.1 million, and then Barabanov, we got to give you a big time deal as well. We'll do 4.5 million for the next 2. 4.5 is a bit expensive for you considering you're only an 81 overall, but I have a feeling you're going to jump up to an 85. So for at least the 3rd time in this video, the Rangers are going to be winning in season number 1. Is that a sign for what's going to happen in the real playoffs? I guess time will tell. So we're just going to trade some picks with the Arizona Coyotes. We're getting a future 3rd, 4th, and 6th round pick. Honestly, a trade like this makes absolutely no sense. We trade a 3rd, 4th, and 5th away for a 3rd, 4th, and a 6th. So in the re-sign phase, we're just going to be letting all these guys walk. No point bringing them back if they're not going to be playing on the team or they don't have any trade value. So after not doing anything in the re-sign phase, we got to give out extensions. Mason McTavish, here's 5.7 for the next 4. Holtz, we're going to have to give you a bag as well. Hopefully you're wanting less than that. Thankfully you are, so we're going to do 4.5 for the next 3. Zutterland, you're a big time player for us. We'll lock you down as well. We'll do 2.9 million for the next 2. Luke Evangelista, stick on the ice legend. We're keeping you around. It's 2.3 for the next 2 for you. Granlund, I actually wouldn't mind keeping you on this team at a reasonable price. I can do 3.5 for the next 2. Knizhov, what are you looking for? $2 million for the next 3 years. Why not do that? And then Klim Kostin, we'll finish it off with you here. We'll do 2.1 for the next 2. But the most important extension we have to give out is going to UC Saros, and we're doing 6.2 million for the next 6 seasons. So we can do a couple 1-year deals, seeing as we do have $24 million in cap space. The first one's going to go to Brandon Montour. We're going to give him 8.3 for next season. We're also going to get Brady Shea a deal here because you know what? The defense is probably the one weak spot on our team. Our offense is fantastic, but if we could bring a couple guys like this onto our team, we're going to be elite. Here's 6.1 for next season. And you know what? We have the cap space to do so, so why not? Patrick Kane, I'll give you $8.7 million for next season. If you fit on this team, you do. If you don't, you don't. But you know what? We might as well try to pick up a 90 overall. Alright, so over the offseason, not only did a handful of guys get better on this team, we added Patrick Kane to the forward core, so we're getting a +5 boost on the first line. The second line's getting a +2. We got Mason McTavish at an 86, Barabanov at an 84, Holtz is at an 85. The bottom 6 is still looking absolutely fantastic here, and the defense is exceptional. Mackenzie Weegar, Brandon Montour, Cale Bassett, Mitayukov. Wait, hold on. It's Kalen Addison. Is his name always been Kalen Addison? This man's name is really Kalen Addison. I have always called him Caleb Addison. I just learned now that his name is Kalen Addison. You learn something new every day, I guess. Kalen Addison, welcome to the defense. I've always called you Cale Bassett. Did not realize it was Kalen. UC Saros, have another great season. I believe in you. Also, our team was so good last season. I don't feel like making any trades here. We're going right to the end of the season. We added 3 elite players. There's no way we're going to be worse. And if we are worse than last season and somehow miss the playoffs, it's only going to be a 2-year rebuild for the San Jose Sharks just because they're going to make me so mad. We lost 4-0 in game number 1. That's great. So I'm going to keep it a $150. I wasn't paying attention during the season simulation. The last thing I remember, we're 7-10. We finished the season with a 53-24-5 record. Okay, this team is actually legit. I thought this was only going to be a 2-season rebuild based on how disappointing we were. Nope, we're actually elite here. Novak, you're -2. I can't believe you did that to me. The goaltending numbers from UC Saros, absolutely spectacular. It's time for San Jose to win. We have all the pieces we need here. We just need to show up when it matters most, and we gotta show up right now. Okay, I am so serious when I say if we lose in the first round to the Nashville Predators, the next thing you're gonna see is the end of next season and us getting ready for the playoffs. We better not be losing to the Nashville Predators. Thankfully, we're getting past them 5-1 in Game 6. So we've got past the Nashville Predators as we should, and now we got the Vancouver Canucks up next. They beat Connor McDavid and the Edmonton Oilers, so you already know they're legit. So we've been exchanging games with the Vancouver Canucks. We're off to Game 5 here. The winner's going to be 1 game away from the conference finals. Who's it going to be? It's the San Jose Sharks. We got to lock in right here. We got to move on to the conference finals, and that's exactly what we're doing. So here we go, the conference finals. The San Jose Sharks matching up against the Dallas Stars. 2 great teams, but right now I think the Sharks might be unstoppable, so Dallas isn't prepared for what's about to happen. So we're about to reach the Stanley Cup final, a 3-1 series lead against the Dallas Stars. We closed it out here. The San Jose Sharks in the year 2025 under Stick on the Ice's management, Stanley Cup final. It's time to hoist that cup. So it all comes down to this, the Stanley Cup final. The San Jose Sharks have really made it here. I did not think it would be possible for this team to even make the postseason, but here we are in season number 2, the Stanley Cup final. Let's take this home. So here we go, the Stanley Cup final, the San Jose Sharks taking on the New York Rangers. I thought we were about to sweep the Rangers. We really have a 3-1 series lead, and we did choke it away. San Jose won in 2 years. Ain't no way that just happened. Okay, how did this team just win? I got to see the postseason scoring. Kane 22 points, Barabanov 20, Eklund's picking up 20, Zutterland's picking up 18. He was playing the bottom 6 minutes. How did this team play so good? And then UC Saro 16 wins, 2 shots, a 920 and a 257. Out of all the teams I rebuilt today, this is the one I had the most questions about, and we won in 2 seasons. Now we have to win one more Stanley Cup, and that's with the Vancouver Canucks. It's time to finish it off with one more cup. So we have one final team to rebuild. That's the Vancouver Canucks. Pedersen, Miller, Lindholm, Brock Besser. Of course, the defense is going to see Quinn Hughes and Hronek. We're looking absolutely fantastic, and when you have Thatcher Demko in between the pipes, you can compete for a Stanley Cup. We're only going to have to do a handful of trades with this team, and then we're going to be bringing home a cup. It's not going to be too difficult. So this is going to be the first trade of many. Connor Garland, we got to trade you away to clear up a bit of cap space because we're looking to make a big move here, and by making this trade, we're going to be bringing 2 third-round picks onto the team. We are going to have to give up a 7th rounder in the deal, but it's definitely going to be worth it. So with this 7th rounder added in the deal, we're bringing 2 third-rounders onto the team, and now we're going to flip those picks. And we're packaging up a massive deal here. It's going to be 3 third-rounders, a second and Susie, over to the LA Kings. We're bringing in Kempe to play some big minutes on this team. He's going to score goals, and he's going to put us over the edge. Before we make any more trades, though, I got to make sure we lock some of these guys down long-term. The first is going to be Elias Lindholm. We're doing 5.7 for the next 4. And then Hronek, we're going to do a 2-year deal with him. Unfortunately, it's going to cost us a bit more here. We're going to do 5.9 for the next 2. So the next move is going to be a bit of a riskier one. We're picking up Kurashev, and he's going to play some top 6 minutes for us. But you know what? I believe he's going to develop into a great player for us. So Sam Lafferty's being sent back to Chicago. We're going to have to include a 6th rounder in this deal, but I think that will be enough to get this done. So Sam Lafferty in his 6th over to Chicago, and Kurashev's joined the team. Alright, so I'm crafting up another big trade here. First, Zadorov and Leckermack need to go over to the Arizona Coyotes. We're picking up Josh Stone and 3 third-round picks. The most important thing to note here, we're flipping all those third-round picks. Hopefully a 7th rounder can make the difference. I highly doubt it. We're probably going to have to throw a 6th in the deal as well. It's going to be a 7th and a 6th. These third-rounders are going to be incredibly valuable because we're going to be sending them over to the Dallas Stars. We have to throw a 5th-round pick in the deal as well. This is actually a bit much, but you know what? For the player we're going to be getting, it's definitely going to be worth it. And this is the player that we're going to be bringing onto the team for 3 third-round picks and Josh Stone. It's Thomas Harley. He's going to be a great defenseman for us. Hopefully we can keep him long-term. That's the plan, at least. Well, the Thomas Harley deal is definitely going to work out for the team here. We're going to be doing 4.4 for the next 5, an absolute steal. So this is what the team's looking like. We didn't make too many changes. We did bring in Kurashev and Kempe to help the forward core here. We're going to be scoring some more goals. Defensively, Thomas Harley's going to be a massive pickup for us. He's going to be one of our better defensemen here. And then we still have Thatcher Demko in between the pipes. As I said, we don't really need to do too much to this Vancouver team. They're already looking pretty elite. So plain and simple, Stick on the Ice was cooking with the moves he made. 41, 15, and 9 at the trade deadline. The offense is flying and the defense is absolutely spectacular. This really might be a 1-season rebuild based on how things are going. But then again, when the playoffs come around, it's a different animal. Elias Pettersson 76 points, JT Miller 72, Elias Lindholm 68, Brock Besser 65. Okay, this team knows how to score and we play defense. We're in such a good position here. The only thing I'm looking to do is getting a new defenseman. And I already know who I want as a defenseman, but I don't think this team's going to want to trade Brett Pesce away. He would be absolutely elite for us. As long as he fits on the second pairing, then we're looking to make this move. Okay, yeah, we're going to make this happen. I don't know how we're going to do it. We're going to find a way though. I mean, I guess the first thing we can do here is just trade all of our picks away for the next 2 years. Is that going to be enough to bring Brett Pesce to the team? They're saying no. We probably have one valuable prospect on this team. So of course we have the legend in Atu Ratu. I can add him into this deal, and I think that should be enough for Brett Pesce. Alright, it's time to go hoist that Stanley Cup. So Vancouver was pretty elite to finish out the season. We're finishing with 51 wins here, a 51, 20, and 11 record. But we can't sleep on the Lightning, and we definitely can't sleep on the Rangers. They're both looking elite. We're averaging 3.87 goals per game, while the defense, pretty solid. It's below 3. I'll definitely take that. When it comes to the scoring, it's no surprise Elias Pettersson's leading the way. He's got 101 points. JT Miller's picking up 97. Elias Lindholm, he's picking up 81. We almost had 3 guys averaging a point a game, but unfortunately Lindholm was just 1 short. I mean, Kempe was only 3 short and Brock Besser was 4. So yeah, the team was looking fantastic this season. And the goaltending, we got Thatcher Demko putting up numbers like this: 43 wins, 2 shots, a 905 and a 287. But no matter what happens here, we can't lose in the first round because our first round matchup makes absolutely no sense. Like, out of all the teams we could take on, it's somehow the San Jose Sharks. Yeah, I got nothing to say say about that. So no surprise, the San Jose Sharks aren't putting up a fight, but somehow they took one game away from us. The San Jose Sharks really took one game. That just doesn't sit right with me. So everything that has happened up until this point no longer matters. The best of the best are going to show up here. We need the big time players to make some big time plays. It's the Vancouver Canucks taking on Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, and the Edmonton Oilers. So I really thought the Edmonton Oilers were going to put up a big fight against us. Nope, we've been absolutely dominating them over the past 3 games and make that 4 straight games, and now we're off to the conference finals. So we made it to the conference finals. I thought the Oilers were going to be a tough task for us, but I guess not. We have the Colorado Avalanche. We already know that they're a legit team, so the tough matchup should continue for us. Now, similar to the series against the Edmonton Oilers, the Colorado Avalanche are taking game 1, but we're going to be taking 3 straight, and we're looking to make it 4 straight here. That's exactly what's happening. 2 of the best are matching up. The Vancouver Canucks taking on the New York Rangers. It all comes down to this. So this is going to be decided between the big-time players. The Rangers have a ton of greats, but so do the Vancouver Canucks, and it looks like things are just going to keep going our way. A 3-1 series lead, and just like that, the Vancouver Canucks are Stanley Cup champions after taking it home in game number 6. That was a high-scoring one, but who cares how you win the game? As long as you win it, we're Stanley Cup champions, the final team of the rebuild. Now, there was a lot of great players we saw today. A lot of players stepped up when it mattered most. Like, look at this Vancouver Canucks team. If you need some goals, you could rely on a handful of players. Even Kurashev. Comment Kurashev if you made it to the end of this video. 23 points in 21 games, only an 83 overall. That man was a big-time player. Wasn't expecting that from him. Meanwhile, Thatcher Demko, these numbers aren't as good as I thought they would be. 15 wins, a 908 and a 296. We want a Stanley Cup with you, and at the end of the day, a win is a win is a win is a win.